welcome to another edition of your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show.
Question is, did she subscribe?
Right.
She's down on YouTube.
Representing from the Boondocks. What up, Jobo?
Hello, what's up? Happy Wednesday.
What up? She repping her Hey Sister Soldier look right now. Everybody give it up for Bunny. What's happening, Bunny?
What up? Happy hump day.
T-Bone, what's going on, brother?
I'm back, and I don't know about better than ever, but I'm back.
What is going on, party people? It is your Wednesday night Sports Delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth. I think that may be on a highlight reel tape. And we're glad that you are tuning in live along with the millions
And millions
of the platform sports talk show fans on once again your Wednesday night Sports Delight.
Really?
Or
Brinks truck backing up in his driveway with
There you go.
97 million. There you go.
all you hear is this.
It's always somebody who's doing something to give back and letting the next generation.
Say
Don't
straight.
have me tear up on here.
Come on now, don't have me tear up. You know I get emotional.
But people watching around the world, no pressure. And we already have our favorite fan, Ms. Williams, saying, welcome, Brandon.
Well, how are you? Hi, Ms. Williams.
A guy who tried to give it his all and put on for the city, to be truthful. Because like I said, I'm St. Louis die hard.
The views of Smooth does not reflect the Platform Sports Talk Show or its sponsors.
What is going on, party people? It is your Wednesday night sports delight, the platform sports talk show. It's been a minute, but I'm back. Shouts out to everyone who's tuned in right now. Need everyone to go ahead and like and share this stream. Not right now, but right now. It is your boy Smooth. Feels good to be back once again. Shouts out to the Man Cave panel and the Ladies Night crew as well. They've done an amazing job over the last few weeks, holding things down with incredible guests. And tonight, the party does not stop. In a matter of moments, we'll have St. Louis Cardinals and Blues organist, Mr. Jeremy Boyer. He'll be on. And then about around 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, no matter, for those who may be in different, time zones and everything, we'll bring back my boy, Coach Brian Turner, as we discuss the NBA playoffs. So get ready for a jam-packed show real quick because my boy T-Bone ain't on tonight. I got to go and hold things down so you already know on your screen. And for those listening on Hot 365 Radio, go ahead and give us that follow on Facebook, on Twitter at 314 Sports Talk, YouTube, subscribe, and click on that bell because anytime we go live, you will be notified. Also, you can email us at platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com. We also on that Insta at Platform Sports Talk. As soon as this show is over, it will be uploaded on the Roku. So any kind of Roku TV you have, just put in the Platform Sports Talk Show. Boom, add us as a channel and check us out later on. And once again, for those listening right now on Hot 365 Radio, where it's always hot, 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 hot. We sound very good, crystal clear, HD. Check us out there as well. So if you can't see us, you can still listen to us no matter where you are at. Go to hot365radio.com or go to the app, no matter if it's iOS, no matter if it's Android. Just put in Hot 365 Radio, download the app, and bam, you can hear us every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. As I mentioned before, every last Wednesday of the month, you have the Man Cave. Shouts out to Stan, T-Bone, Sadal, and Craig Black. And then as you saw last week, and for those on Hot 365 Radio, y'all heard an incredible show, Ladies Night, every first Wednesday of the month. And these ladies, they know their sports. They have great interactions with the commenters. They have great guests, great dialogue, just great all the way around. I couldn't be any more prouder to see how these ladies have just held things down and took over the show and doing it their own way. And speaking of which, one of the ladies who's ready now, representing from the Boondocks, Joe Bo, what's happening?
What up?
Everything
Happy
good.
Wednesday.
I see you showing the tat. You know what I'm saying? I see you showing off right there. You go. She flexing on him. Don't hurt him. Don't hurt him.
Oh man, yeah, it's been feeling nice outside lately. It's cutoff season here at the household, so cutoffs and showing the guns and all that good stuff. So but yeah, it's feel nice outside. Been playing with baby Bova and the hubby, and they played out in a sprinkler today, which they're crazy for because it's not that warm right now, but whatever. They had fun. I watched.
Yeah, I saw the video. You gotta tell Baker, your husband, get ready for the football season. He got to go ahead and get it now.
I asked him because if he posts any sort of picture of me, I'm like, I get mad if he didn't ask me, girl thing, I think. But I was like, are you okay if I post a picture of you without your shirt on? He was like, I don't care. I got dad bod. So I'm like, all right, whatever. As long as you're cool with it, I'm posting it. So yeah, he's been working on the Peloton here and there too, though. So he's looking good.
That's what's up, man. And your thoughts on the incredible interview, actually show from last Wednesday with Miss Countess Danielle.
As soon as I got upstairs and talked to Brendan afterwards, I was like, it was different, but I really liked it. Had a lot of fun. And I even said during the show, that's what's so great about this platform is, like right now we're not necessarily just talking about sports. We just catch up, talk about life. It was cool for Brittany and her to catch up and just see how they've been. And I'm not the girliest of person. I mean, I'm sitting here with a Star Wars coat off in my boy cave down here, and I was sitting there talking about hair and makeup, and it was different, but I had a lot of fun, and it was cool getting to know her.
That's what's up, man. Once again, y'all did a amazing job, and like you said, just the conversations y'all had, and because especially seeing Brittany and Countess to, just to catch up and everything, and just showing how much empowerment that women, that y'all have. Y'all definitely amazing, and just once again, thank y'all for doing what y'all do for Ladies Night and for the platform Sports Talk Show. So up next, I'm not sure she's ready, so I'm gonna wait till she give me a signal or something because she don't have her camera. Okay, she ready. I think she is now. She is the host of Ladies Night. Got her hair done, did up. She ready. She fresh. She's so clean. Representing Lincoln University out there in Illinois right now. The host of Ladies Night, none other than y'all girl, Bunny. What's up, Bunny?
What up?
Oh, we can't hear you. There we go. Now she ready.
Try it again. Happy hump day.
Buddy, you think you'd be used to that by now?
Right.
Girl, the way I have to mute unmute because I got the two in the background that won't let me be right. Too much like right when mommy needs her time to talk. Yeah, too much like right. So I'm sorry, I keep forgetting, but I'm getting better. I promise.
It's all good, and I also have to commend you, Bunny, because I know you, juggling so much stuff going on at the home and trying to be the host, trying to be the awesome panelist that you are, and then with the kids and everything, and cooking and washing clothes and sweeping the floors and mopping at the same time while being incredible on the platform Sports Talk Show. So everything that you do, and Joe and all the ladies as well, Brittany and Coach Stringer, I appreciate each and every one of y'all for what y'all do for the platform Sports Talk Show. So once again, busy show ahead. Real quick, Bunny, your thoughts on last week's show?
Awesome. Had fun. A lot of great energy. Miss Countess, or she told me that's part of her name. Continue also put her name. Great guest. Energy amazing. Spin off talking about her teas, and with Brittany keep like, well, you had lotion. She just like a lot of stuff, a lot of hands and things. Great to hear about it, and good vibe overall. And like Jobo said, she's not the girliest girl, but she learned some stuff, and we just mixed it all in together. Had one great show, different backgrounds, personalities, and all that fun stuff, plus a little bit of sports.
Right. When y'all see Joe out there in them streets, rocking the new herbal stuff, you know where she got it from.
Oh Lord. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and get right into it, man. Y'all already know what it is. Leave them comments throughout the show. We want to interact with you. That's what makes the show even better. So don't be shy. Go ahead and give us your sports takes and everything. Right now, you now have my attention. What sports story or stories has your attention? Jobo, you up.
I'm gonna skip baseball and the Cardinals just because I'm sure we'll talk about that and all the drama. But right now, I'm doing the NHL lottery draft. It's fishy, y'all. I'm just saying, it's fishy. It's weird. I'm sure our first special guest might agree, but Chicago Blackhawks, man, they got the first round draft pick. They're gonna get Connor Bedard. That they're gonna get Connor Bedard. It's like the worst possible thing that could happen. Right. They just went like through a decade of covering up sexual assault, and they get rewarded with with the first round draft pick, like one of the first people since Connor McDavid. That's how he's talked about. So that's that. Blues had a 3.5% chance, but yeah, the Blackhawks got it. So, and it's just so weird, like a couple people mention it. They lost Patrick Kane. Jonathan Toews is not going to be there next year. So the NHL needs to give one of their teams something to cheer about, and there you go. So that's what's got my attention. It's annoying. It sucks, and I hope he's he's not going to be, but I hope he's just talk, and that's that.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw the post that the Blackhawks got #1 pick, I was like this. Hell to the no. That's just how I felt. I'm like, really?
I was playing with Mia in her playroom, and I heard Brownie was like, and I'm like, what happened? I thought he hurt himself. And he's like, Blackhawks got the first round pick. I'm like, oh my gosh. So,
and see, I knew things were bad. I knew things were bad when the Blues got #10. I said, oh yeah, it's all bad. You might well try to trade up for a higher pick now or something.
It's really weird. I can't remember exactly what it was, but Biz Nasty, he does a lot of the TNT stuff, and he does the Spit and Chicklets. He's part of that. He played for the Coyotes for a majority of his career, and he was watching it live, and he was like, I don't think the Coyotes have gotten any higher than like the sixth round pick, which is just weird to me. Like, the Coyotes suck all the time, and you're telling me they just never get the first round draft pick. Like, that's just weird to me. And NHL is not going to benefit from Arizona getting a stud. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's weird to me. And it's not live. They say it's live, but it's not live. They do it behind the scenes, and then they record the show or whatever. That. So it's just weird, sketchy. Gary Bettman's a turd, and now we got to sit here and watch another Patrick Kane type player for, Mia's entire life now. Like, we got to watch freaking Taze and Kane. So that sucks.
Right. Bunny, what sports story has your attention?
Hell, Joe was going on a tangent there. I was like, well, damn, I had a couple of questions. Forget my sports story. Let's rewind it back if you don't mind.
What?
I need a little education here. I know about the Patrick Kane and all his sexual assault crap, and he got shipped off away from the Blackhawks. And here you are, you said sexual assault was ran rampant throughout the organization. They get awarded with a first round pick. The guy who they drafted, he's known to also have sexual assault on his.
No.
Just because they just got awarded the first round pick that they shouldn't have for their organization. Okay.
Yeah, so the sexual assault thing, though, it's not with Patrick Kane. It's like coaching staff and like organizationally for like a decade. But didn't Patrick
Kane get accused, boy? He was probably
he got accused of something. It was a while ago, but yeah, he got accused of something like that.
So that's why I said I put it all together. I mean, birds and feathers flock together.
Yeah, but like they didn't draft Connor Bedard. They're going to draft because they got him. They'd be stupid not to. But yeah, it just sucks that all this bad, negative, and not just fans overreacting negative stuff, like legit bad stuff, and then they get, like for example, I don't care anymore because the Astros won again, but like they did what everyone does, and they lose first round picks for years. But this happens, and it's like actual physical sexual assault, and the next year that it comes out, they get the first round pick. So whatever. That's how people see these sports, I guess.
So you're saying it's rigged, and we don't care about women being done wrong. It's still gonna reward you, and you shouldn't. Like, that should be part of their punishment. You're saying they should.
I'm saying it should have definitely been punishment, kind of like the MLB did with the Astros. If that's just based off of a game, and then these people did something outside of the game and kept it a secret for literally like a decade, then something should have happened, not just people being fired.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we see the NHL is almost as bad as NFL when it comes to, we don't condone this, and that, and then do the opposite by rewarding a team that's been accused of that kind of atmosphere and history. But it's kind of like spin off with the Reds, or not Redskins, Lord, the Commanders. Washington Commanders in NFL. They were accused and had a culture of misogyny, doing women wrong, sexist, a whole bunch of crap. They're forced the Snyder family, specifically Dan Snyder, to sell the team. But even when that came out, they didn't say, hey, you're suspended for your being an owner, or they didn't really do anything. But then the hypocrisy is when Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, got caught for a second or third DWI or popping pills, whatever. They suspend him a few games. Like, I guess what's the word? Being hypocrites serve well with NFL. And I think NHL is going down that same road. Being a hypocrite serves them well. So, my 2 cents. That wasn't my story, but hey, I ran away because Joe had so much to say. I was like, I got to chime in. This is a lot of going on.
Yeah, Joe was going in. She's like, man, I'm sick of this. No,
Right.
I mean,
Like I said, we could talk. We could spend the entire 2-3 hours talking about the Cardinals. No other baseball team. We could just be talking about the Cardinals if we really wanted to. But I wasn't going to do that. I had to switch it up a little bit, so that's why I went with that.
Okay. Well, if you weren't here for my 2 cents real quickly, not with that, but what had my attention, I was late talking about this because we didn't discuss the NFL draft last week, and specifically not the draft, but the fact that Lamar Jackson finally got his guaranteed contract. So that's big because for one, y'all know he didn't even use an agent anymore. Y'all know the runner-up to the Super Bowl, Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts got a lot of guaranteed money in his contract, which is far and few in the NFL. So Lamar Jackson being able to get a guaranteed contract and without an agent, shout out to him. I give him all the credit and then some. So that had my attention. I'm sorry I'm like bringing this up, but congratulations.
Yeah, and for me, I had to stick with football. The NFL schedule is about to come out probably any time now if it hasn't already. I'm waiting on some updates. But there's been a few changes in regards to the NFL this year. So, like for the first time, there's not going to be no set. You know how usually in the past you'll see in the Fox will have all NFC games and CBS will have all AFC games. Every game this season is going to be a free agent. So any network can pick up a game each week. Also, teams can now play multiple Thursday night football games. So let's say if, for instance, the Rams and whoever, if the Rams and the other team aren't a good team, by the time their game comes up, they can be flexed out for an even better game. So the NFL is focusing on making sure that fans are seeing better games during prime time slots. So you might see 2 AFC teams start being on Fox and not just on CBS like it used to be in the past. So they're doing a whole lot of different things in the NFL to generate more, of course, viewership and, of course, bring in more money. Now, I heard this on 1-to-1 ESPN, shouts out to them, but this could affect people going to the game. So if you are a season ticket holder or someone who just want to go to a game, and let's say, oh, I want to see the Chiefs play, this team here, and it's scheduled on December the 10th or whatever it is. The league can make a last-minute change and flex that game to a different time. So you're planning on going on this day or at this time, and it can move to like a Sunday night or a Thursday night game. So just imagine how that can feel when you're planning on going to a game months in advance or weeks in advance, whatever, and then it may be a last minute change because of the importance of that game and who's trying to, show that game on the network. So a lot of different things going on with the NFL. They're trying to change to different, time and everything, just keeping up with everything. So pretty interesting to see how things will turn out. But
That's
NFL, they're gonna still make the money. I feel like,
But I'm
for the
about to
viewer,
say they probably doing it. They tested the waters out on some of it. They don't just try new things and see what happens. They had to test the waters out, and if it doesn't work, they'll retract it. But they're in there to make money, so that flexing, it may be dumb, but it may actually still work though. But
the NFL is still the NFL. They're gonna make all their money and this and that. But like, I'm just thinking, like last year, or this past season, our buddy wanted to go to a Colts game. And like we were planning around it. We never went, but like what if we end up going and or like driving or whatever, and then they're like, oh, we just want to switch it now to a night game, or I don't know, that just kind of messes with people's livelihood. So we'll see how that goes. But there's people do some crazy things for sports, so they're still gonna make their money. It's the NFL.
You got that right. They're gonna make their money and exploit people while doing it. Speaking of NFL, did we ever talk about Darvin Ham, coach of the Lakers, he'll be on tonight. But talk about what's the one that cardiac arrest on the field and we all thought he died. What's his name?
Say it again.
The player from the Bills that had the cardiac arrest on the field and he didn't play. We thought
yeah. You talking about DeMar Hamlin?
Damn, that's him. I said Hamlin. We talked about him. Talked about he wants to make a comeback.
We didn't talk about it, but we definitely can real quick. He did announce that he is officially back He's officially healthy, got the bill of health, so he will be back this upcoming season. So everything that he's been through, and now he's able to be back and no limitations is amazing.
I'm still not skeptical, but I was leery. I still think that's still playing with your life because it could happen again. I know it can happen to anybody, but at the same time, it happened to him. And if he can get hit like that again, it could happen. The doctor didn't say it's preventable, and all that you went through just to get brought back to life, basically. All that to, I mean, I know I'm not that type of athlete to where people, their whole life, that's all they dream. They got their dream to come true. To be taken away from an injury is one thing, but for an incident that happened, was he willing to risk that happening again? I mean, there's no guarantee money in his contract. Like, whoo, I think that's dangerous playing it that way because you don't even know when that hit's gonna happen. And people may, like on opponents, may be afraid to even hit them and tackle them because that's gonna be in their mind. Like, I don't want this to happen again, and it could. So, I don't know. What's your thoughts on it for him trying to come back?
For the love of the game, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a risky situation for him. Same thing with Tua. You saw what happened with him last year. He took a big blow against the Bengals, and we thought, man, is he going to wake up? It looked that bad. Then he ended up coming back for maybe, 1 or 2 games. Then he was out for the rest of the year. With the football, you just don't know. But as you can see, these players love the game. They don't want to give up on it yet. We just hope and pray that nothing happens in which they regret making that comeback. But before we go ahead and continue on, our guest is ready to rock and roll. It's definitely a pleasure. We've had a lot of incredible guests on this show for over the last 6 years, and tonight it does not change. This man here, he has to have one of the coolest jobs in all of America or just in the world. This man here, he is the organist for the St. Louis Blues and the St. Louis Cardinals. He had the opportunity when the Blues was going through that wonderful ride in 19. He was right there in thick of things as an organist, and as you see right now on your screen, was on stage holding Lord Stanley. Joe, this ain't the kind that you got at your house. This the real one.
Yeah, that's the real deal right there. I'm one of those blue specks out there somewhere.
Right. But yeah, it's the real deal right there. This man here, I reached out to him and he was very gracious. And I know he's a very busy man. And for him to be able to be on this show definitely means a lot for the Platform Sports Talk Show. He has been, once again, an organist currently for the Blues, for the Cardinals. Also has done some work with the Kansas City Royals, the other team in Missouri, and for the Memphis Redbirds. He's also an organist and director of music at St. Francis of Assisi Parish in South County. And tonight, he is the special guest on your Wednesday night sports delight on the Platform Sports Talk Show. We now introduce to the show Mr. Jeremy Boyer. How you doing this evening, sir?
Good. How are you guys?
Welcome.
Hello.
Thank you.
Man, we are doing great. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I like the shirt.
I know.
Thank
About
you.
to say you need to get us on game where we can get a shirt like that. A throwback trumpet, yeah, the original Blues. Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Throwing it back to the 90s.
Here we go, taking it back to where some people didn't like the red in the old logo and jersey. What's your thoughts about that, Jeremy?
I like it. I like the we're the home jerseys at the time. They're mostly white with the blue and the little bit of red at the bottom, but I don't mind it. I grew up with it. It was kind of all I knew as a kid. Even before that, they had a little bit of red around the blue note during the earlier Brett Hull years. So it always had red whenever I was a kid. It wasn't until after the 90s that they went to strictly blue, gold, and white for me.
Right. And also, just for our viewing audience, if you don't mind, you can turn your phone landscape so you can get your full video on the screen.
I can do that here with this. I don't know if I can.
There it is.
might have to
There
hold
we
it.
go. Perfect. So yes, so once again, wearing that red back in the day, and even when they came out a couple years ago, Joe, with the retro, people like, because I saw it in person a couple years ago. I'm like, those look good, especially nowadays. And I know, Joe, I think you was like, were you down with, or you were like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I loved it. The retros, reverse retros. I think they're awesome. I know like some guys like Raiden Shen wasn't a big fan of it, but I know I love them. But I've liked a lot of their jerseys they've done. The Winter Classic ones, I guess the reverse Winter Classic ones as well. I thought even the what's the game they played with all the legends? What's that one called? I can't remember. That one was cool too. So they have. I don't think they failed yet, honestly, with their with all their sweaters. I guess they call them.
Right. But yeah, so speaking of the Blues and the Cardinals, Jeremy, rough go around for both teams. Not a great ending for the Blues and not a great start for the Cardinals. And you've been in the midst of both teams. How has that vibe been, in regards to what you do to provide the atmosphere for both teams?
Well, I mean, for me, you still got to do your job, and you still got to entertain, and maybe that just takes on a different form whenever it's not, maybe a playoff contender or whatever. But you still have a job to do, and I try to make it as much fun every night for all the fans as I can, and hopefully that even if it's not a winner, they come away thinking, man, I had a great time tonight. I had a lot of fun with my friends or my family or whoever, and loved having a good time at the ballpark or at the ice rink.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah.
Regarding playing the music, have you ever just had a moment where you slipped up, you was at the Blues game and played Take Me Out to the Ball game, and then you was at a Cardinals game and played Let's Go Blues? Like, have you ever done that?
No, not really. I get often asked that if I do that at church, playing the organ at a mass or whatever. And you ever slip into a little blues stuff? And thankfully I'm not, but there's been times where like I do play a little bit differently, just the way that I would play the organ or like my presets on the organ, and like I'll hit it thinking it's one thing and I'm like, nope, that's the other place. But that's not usually a big deal.
And it's funny how you brought it up because I'm a drummer, and I've been a drummer for for over 15 years. I know that for sure. And my home church is Washington Metropolitan AME Zion Church. And I told our organist, Keith Fowler, shouts out to him. He may be watching right now. I told him, hey, I got the organist from Blues and Cardinals on tonight, so tune in. So hopefully he's watching right now. And it be times that I be wanting him just all of a sudden just bust out playing dun 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 dun, something like this to have fun.
Yeah.
I don't be in church. I know if you got to count down, but it's just amazing when I see him play with so much ease, because you know what the Hammond organ and everything, you have the two levels up here, down here, and I'm like, man, you got to have a lot of special skills to be in sync with both hands, plus using your foot as well to provide that baseline. So just tell us about how you got into that, who taught you that skill, because it's amazing when I see Keith doing it every Sunday. And then, of course, what you do at Busch Stadium and at the Enterprise Center and wherever that you do play. Just tell us about that.
So as a kid, I was in band and choir in school. And so I learned how to read music. I was playing saxophone in middle school and played a little percussion myself. I was in choir. So, I loved music, got to play and sing, but I was also a big fan of, playing sports. I loved to play baseball. I went to a small school, Potosi, Missouri, played football. I wrestled, I ran track, and I played baseball. Got to do everything. It was a small town, not a lot of kids, but, and then on top of that, I got to be band and choir. So it was just a perfect marriage, putting sports and music together. And when I was a kid and I enjoyed playing, sax or whatever in middle school, my mom had an organ at the house. She'd played when she was a teenager. And I guess my grandma had given it to her thinking she might use it, which she didn't really that much. But I fell in love with it. And I was like, I'm going to sit here and figure out some things. And, like I said, I was very into music, and that was kind of intriguing to me. And so I sat down and I'd play, and she'd help me a little bit and taught me how to play chords or different things like that. And eventually I kept practicing on my own and teaching myself until I could really play, full music, left, right hand, feet, pedals, all that stuff. And it wasn't until college I really took formal lessons, and then I got to college and I took formal lessons, and I studied with Ernie Hayes, who was the Cardinals and blues organist for decades, and got to play with him and, learn some of the ropes from him. And that was a great experience. And, just kind of went from there. I started in Cape Girardeau playing for the Southeast Missouri State baseball team. And that was a great chance for me to learn on the job, I guess, a little bit. And go back to Ernie and say, hey, this is what I did. How do I fix this, or how do I make this better? And he would kind of teach me the ropes a little bit, and we'd fine tune things. And from there, I went to Memphis and started playing in Memphis for the Memphis Redbirds, which is the Cardinals AAA team. And that was a lot of fun, getting to play for professional baseball. And a lot of the guys who would eventually go on to be the 2011 World Series championship team were in Memphis at the time when I was there. And it was cool to get to see them and kind of really grow with them a little bit, going through the minors myself. I feel like through the AAA team and then to the Cardinals eventually one day, but also with the Blues too. So
that's awesome.
Man. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, just take us back if you don't mind. You brought up in regards to your childhood, how you love playing baseball. You was in track. So, what was that first sport that you played?
Definitely baseball. I was probably whenever I was like 5 or 6 years old playing, like coach pitch or something. There wasn't really T-ball when I was a kid, or if there was, not where I grew up at. Coach pitch was kind of the first thing when you're 5 or 6, and started playing. I was a catcher. I loved then being, kind of getting to be a little bit a part of the action all the time, and played catcher all the way through really until high school. And then I guess maybe I played a little basketball in middle school. I'm not a tall guy, so I didn't really stick with the basketball. Went to wrestling instead, and in high school, and I loved wrestling, and that was fun. And then in the spring, I'd run track, and I was a sprinter, and I'd do like 100 meter, 200 meter, and the relays. And then, baseball again, in the summers, and football in the fall, and was a running back and a defensive back. And I just love sports, and I've always loved watching sports and playing sports, and getting to do music for sports is kind of like the next best thing for me.
And Bunny, you had a question?
Yes. Jeremy, you ran through your little childhood resume so much. I was like, my goodness. What didn't you do besides gymnastics? I mean, every box was checked for childhood sports. I mean, maybe you did gymnastics, maybe you did the backyard flips. I don't know, but you did like everything. Maybe rollerblade. Like, what sport didn't you do at this point?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't big into bowling or that kind of stuff, but it was, like I said, it was a small town, so I got to play and do a lot of different things, and I appreciate getting that opportunity and getting to try my hand at a lot of different things. It made me, I feel like, more of a well-rounded individual, and gave me a chance to learn a lot of different trades and a lot of different things, and things maybe I wouldn't have had the chance to do if it was maybe like it is today, where everything's super focused on, you got to focus on this one sport and be really good at this one thing. And because I got to learn sports really well, and I got to learn music, and I think that benefited me in the long run, because I got to do both, sort of. I got to learn sports, and now I get to, because of that knowledge, I can, play my music to really fit the moment of whatever happens in a baseball game or a hockey game.
Yeah,
well, now
awesome.
that the MLS team is here in St. Louis, are you also going to try to be an organist for them as well?
Right.
That's one sport I didn't play, with soccer.
I was saying, do they have? I haven't paid attention. I don't even think they have organs or anything like that. And they always have everyone playing the drums throughout the entire game. I feel like it's like the WBC, honestly.
Yeah, I did. I have played for the St. Louis Ambush indoor soccer, which is a whole other, really kind of thing, arena soccer. But it's mostly, I think, drums. There's really no music per se for MLS.
We need you to help change that in.
Right. So this is a safe space, what I'm saying? Just us. So it's all good when I ask you this question, okay? No pressure. But outside of yourself, who would you say is that athlete in your family?
The athlete in my family?
Yeah.
I don't know. My brother and I both were kind of the same. He didn't run track. or he didn't play basketball after middle school, and he didn't wrestle. But he was athletic too. He was very athletic, and I had an uncle who played a little bit of minor league ball, so probably a little bit better than than I was. But yeah, I think that's probably about it.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty awesome. So I know you brought up earlier just getting into school and everything in regards to music wise. What made you choose the organ? What was it that fascinated you? Like, you know what? I want to master this. I want to do this. I know you say you was a drummer as well, but what was it about, or percussionist? So what was it about the organ that you was like, man, I want to see about this.
I would say several things because the organ has so many different opportunities. It's like a symphony, really. There's so many stops on the organ. If you ever see an organ, it's got all these little tabs all across it everywhere, like drawbars, those kinds of things. And each one is a different instrument, and you can change it up. You know, that's what's different about the organ versus a piano. They're like, oh, it's the same. It's a keyboard. Well, it's really not. There's lots of different things you could change about the organ to make it sound different. I mean, like at a hockey game, I'll fill that sucker out where it shakes the windows in the building, you know, and pull out these big stops, 32-foot pedal stop, you know, whatever, which is a big old pipe sound, and really shake it up. But I could also play it very quietly with just a little flute, you know, and make it very soft. You know, if I did something at church, very quiet. So it really has a very wide range of emotions and abilities that I can do with the organ, which I love. That's what I love about it. I think I got into it because, you know, I heard it at church. It was something I wanted to emulate. I was like, you know, this is cool. They play it at church. I want to learn how to play that. And it was kind of a way for me to kind of get into it and start off playing. I started playing at church when I was like 12 years old, you know, and then I've been doing it since. Now I've got a career doing that really too. So.
That's awesome. And I'm also a professional DJ, and I'm one that I pretty much taught myself. You know, just kept going at it, didn't get no actual lessons for neither drums or DJing. I'll see, you know, some YouTube videos here. I'll watch other drummers or DJs do their thing, and I kind of pick up on it and everything. So who would you credit in regards to you honing your skills as an organist?
Well, yeah, like I said, my mom helped me when I was a kid, and then definitely Ernie Hayes. I mean, he did what I do now, and it was an opportunity when I was a kid to listen to games and try to emulate what he was doing. You know, I'd hear him playing something at, you know, the Blues game at the arena or at Old Bush Stadium, and, you know, I would sit down and, you know, try to figure out what he played and, you know, do it the way Ernie played it or whatever. And, you know, when I started studying with Ernie, he was like, you got to do your own thing, which I think I've done. And I've tried to do my own music. And he and I are different in a lot of ways with the styles of music and genres of music. But, you know, as far as like in-game stuff, there's definitely things that I try to do that, you know, St. Louis fans recognize, and goes back to really the Ernie Hayes age. And he's a big inspiration for me.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome, and definitely rest in peace to the great Ernie Hayes. I definitely recall him during my young years going to the Old Bush Stadium and everything as well. So definitely shouts out to him. So when would you say you finally got to a point, once you start learning about playing the organ, when would you say that you finally feel like, you know what, I think I got it all mastered and everything down? How long did it take you to feel like you finally got it?
Well, I don't think you ever stop learning, for sure. I mean, I still am learning today, and I think every musician is like that, where they kind of are always learning and trying to get better. But probably when I was at Southeast Missouri State, you know, I was studying music. Excuse me, and you know, I it was about that time that I was like, yeah, I got this. I can, you know, this is something I could do, and you know, that's when I kind of stepped forward and asked the baseball coach, hey, would you care if I came and played for some baseball games? He's like, yeah, come on down, check it out, try it out. And there I kind of got a feel for it, and I just kind of knew, I was like, I could do this.
That's awesome. So tell us about you getting your foot in the door in regards to Memphis and the Royals, and then of course the Cardinals and the Blues.
So at Southeast Missouri State, I lived in a dorm with a friend of mine. She became an intern in Memphis for the Memphis Redbirds. Unfortunately, their organist had some health concerns, and I think the 2007 season or whatever, and they're like, "What do we do? You know, we want an organist. We value this." And she's like, "I know somebody," and she recommended me. And they gave me a call, and they kind of did like a phone interview. And I'm living in Cape Girardeau at the time, and they're like, "Is this something you'd be interested in coming helping us with?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I came down and played a few games, and they liked what they heard, and I finished off that season in Memphis. And I was driving from Cape Girardeau to Memphis, and I would like stay in a hotel, and I was probably spending more money on hotels than what I was making, but it was a good experience and something that benefited me to this day. So I did that, and then the next season I started in Memphis again, and I had the job, and I was doing it full time. I did every game, and it was towards the end of that season, the Blues contacted me about being interested in their job. And they'd seen, I think, some YouTube clips that I'd had of me playing in Memphis. And I think knew my connection with Ernie. And, I'd sat in a bush a time or two with him. And, word of mouth travels a little bit between the sports teams. And so they contacted me and asked if I'd be interested in coming up and talking with them. And I did. And they liked what they heard. And they were looking for somebody who could play. And they wanted to put me out in the bowl where everybody could see me playing. They knew that it was a real live person playing. And so they hired me, and rest is history. I didn't play for the Cardinals, though, until later. And I still split time with another organist, Dwayne Hilton, who plays really the majority of Cardinal games. I play about 40% maybe, or a little less than that, but enough to keep me busy over the summer months after having done a full hockey season, which is a busy time too, especially, we didn't make the playoffs this year, but that's a busy time of year for sure when the playoffs are going on. And even on nights when you're not playing the playoffs, you're doing like this. You're talking to the fans and entertaining in other ways. And you play for away games. I'd play at Ballpark Village a lot for away games, and so even when the team's out of town, I'm still playing somewhere.
That's quite interesting. So I was going to ask you. So when the times overlap between, let's say, Blues hockey September, whether it's preseason, regular season, and the Cardinals may do a postseason run. If they have games on the same day, which, happens every blue moon, how do you pick, or does the organization pick for you if you do this one for the Blues or if you do it for the Cardinals?
Yeah, so I always do Blues first. I don't have a backup at Blues, so it's me or nobody. Thankfully, I've had pretty good health, so I haven't had to worry about that too much. But I always do Blues first, and then Dwayne will play Cardinals when that happens. But there have been times where I've done both in the same day. The Cardinals will have a 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock game, and I'll play that game, and then I'll walk down Clark Avenue to Enterprise Center, and I'll play the Blues game that night because the Cardinals usually play more day games, and the Cardinals or the Blues play more night games. So there's been a few times I've done that. There's times I've done a Cardinal afternoon game and then a Blues playoff game that night even, which I think I did last season with Minnesota Wild series.
You just walked out with Yachty and Wayno.
Yeah.
Say it again, Joe.
I said you just walked down to the arena with Yachty and Wayno last year just to go catch a Blues playoff game or something.
Yeah, they were there quite a bit. It's always good to have those.
And Goldie the last year was show up too, which was cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Love having those guys there. And it's same way sometimes at Cardinals, in the summer camps for hockey is going on. You'll see a lot of the Blues players or Chiefs there a lot. And it's fun to see the Blues. Braden Shin's a big Cardinal fan. He'll come down there, Parayko, and we'll see those guys at Busch too.
Whenever other players, like the Blues come over or vice versa, I guess, and even like sometimes you see Patrick Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Rock was at a game last year. Like, do you get to talk to any of these people, or do they come up and see you or anything?
I usually leave the players and the celebrities alone for the most part. I, especially the players, they've got a job to do, and I don't want to be the guy who they go back to the coach, go like, hey, who's this guy bothering me? So I let them focus on their jobs and stuff. And the only time I've really ever stopped to say hi to someone who is working actively, I think, was one of my first seasons with the Blues, and I just got to the arena, and this cab pulls up, and out steps Wayne Gretzky. And
whoa,
I was like, oh my gosh, that's Wayne Gretzky. That's the great one. And that's why I broke my rules a little bit. So I go into the security entrance, and I'm like, I'm going to wait for him. And this is like kind of before before iPhones and things had cameras on them. I had like a legit digital camera in my bag. And he comes down the stairs through the security entrance, and I saw him like, Mr. Gretzky, I'm Jeremy Boyer. I play the organ. Can I get a picture with you? And he's like, yeah, sure. And this kid's walking down. He's probably 20 years old. He's like a concession stand worker. I'm like, hey, we got our picture together. He's like, yeah, but you got to tell me who this is. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And Wayne Gretzky puts out his hand and goes, hey, I'm Brett Hull. Nice to meet you. And the kid had no idea.
That's funny.
It was hilarious. And Gretzky was great. He was very cool. He was the coach of I think at the time, the Phoenix Coyotes. So he had a job to do, and I'm glad he didn't get mad at me and say, why are you bothering me? But he was very gracious and was very cool to do that. And I did get to meet Patrick Mahomes. I didn't hang out with him or anything, but I did get to see Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce before the Stanley Cup playoffs. They were near my section, and I walked past. I'm like, that's Patrick Mahomes. So that was pretty cool to see those guys up close.
That's awesome. That is definitely awesome. So just sticking with that, because I know how I can be as a DJ, where you feed off the crowd when you hear, if I play a song, the beginning of a song, and you just hear, oh, that's my joint, whatever. So just tell us about that emotion that you feel when you are playing, when you start at Memphis or with KC, or even with the Cardinals and the Blues, that feeling of being able to play and hear your music blasting around a whole stadium and people are enjoying it. Tell us about that feeling that you feel. I know it feels great to me when I get those good reactions, but for you as an organist, how does it make you feel?
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. And that's one of my favorite things at Blues games is that I'm out in the crowd. The organ is out in the seating area. So, I mean, it's roped off, but I could hear everybody talking about what they're, what's happening on the ice, how they're feeling about the game. And, that's a good opportunity for me to interact really well, both just hey, what'd you think about that? And musically as well. I got a good vibe of how everybody feels. So I'm out there with them. And that's great. I love that. The cool thing at Busch sometimes is because it's so big and there's so many people there, 40,000 or whatever, and however many are at Ballpark Village, they're across the street, you're playing something, and you got to stop because the pitch clock or, somebody steps out of the base or, they're ready to go. And you hear them keep clapping and it's just so loud. And that's kind of a cool thing. It's man, I started that. It's, it's unique and it's cool. And I'm glad everybody's having fun and they're getting into it.
I didn't even think about the pitch clock affecting you. That's so silly, but it is funny though. I know a lot of times in hockey it's the DJ or it's even you sometimes, but if someone starts too early at a face-off, the music just stops and then it keeps going where they left off at. I always think that's funny. But 2019, you were probably playing Gloria all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too because that didn't really start for us until the playoffs. I mean, the team had started doing it back in January and everybody knew about it, but in the building we weren't playing it until I think the playoffs, and that's when it started. And I learned it because I'm for no other reason than I thought it'd be fun to learn. I didn't know if I'd ever get to play it at the games because they always played Delora Brannigan. But what ended up happening was I'd play it, then the DJ'd play it, then maybe I'd play it again after a win, and then the DJ'd play it again, and they just kind of played on a loop, and everybody loved it, and it was just kind of a cool time. And yeah, I mean, the DJ and I are good friends at both places, really, but at Blues we kind of think of there's we call it the 3-second rule. I don't know if it's an NHL thing or not, really, honestly, but we'll play maybe just a little bit past puck drop just in case something like that happens. They pick up the puck on a false start and they want to drop it again. But then there's times where we can't tell if they've blown the whistle or not, and they will have to stop and start back up, which kind of stinks. But you got to do what you got to do, and that's part of our job is just to kind of go with the flow and be ready for anything.
And speaking of awesome. 2019, how heavy is Lord Stanley? Were you pulling a tank and your shoulder hurting afterwards, or what was going on?
Light as a feather, man. After 52 years, right?
Yeah, that's true too.
It was amazing, and it was so much fun to have that thing. And I was on the stage. You were thinking the parade's gonna be an hour. We're gonna be done. The team's coming up on the stage in front of us. We're gonna play ins and outs of between each of the, the speakers and different things. And we didn't realize they were getting off of the cars and getting out and interacting with the fans. It took forever. We're up there just fill in time, and we were doing this and that. Then Brett Hull comes up and grabs the mic, and my boss goes, "Oh crap!" But he didn't say crap, and
Right,
that's
right.
Classic,
we went,
classic.
and we're like, "How did Hull get on stage?" And but it was fun, man. We all were having a blast, and the players came up, and kind of after the ceremony, was over or whatever, they were passing the cup around, and I think Tom Calhoun, the longtime Blues PA announcer, got it, and I got a picture of him holding it, and he passed it to me, and that was awesome, and I got to hold it on stage there with all the fans behind us under the arch, and then I passed it on to one of our DJs, and it was a cool moment.
And
How much of a I'm
sorry.
sorry. How much of a rush was it for you as an organist playing during that 2019 run?
It was a blast. Again, like I said, I grew up a big Blues fan, and you go through all of the suffering of this, the not having won a cup before, and having been close a few times. My brother and I remember staying up watching that triple overtime game with Steve Yzerman scoring over John Casey, and we were heartbroken, and we thought maybe that was the year. And 2016, we get to the Western Conference Finals and kind of got dominated by San Jose a little bit, and that wasn't much fun. And we thought we got past, Chicago. We're like, all right, this is it, and then we lost to San Jose. But then in 2019, man, it was a different vibe altogether. Like, you just felt like this was it. I mean, they were just playing such good, their puck control was all the time. They were good defense. Even in that double overtime game where Pat Maroon scores in Game 7, like it just almost felt like a matter of time. Like, we're going to win. It was just a matter of time when it was going to happen. To me, like, we possessed the puck almost all the time. Dallas might got it and come down and got like one shot, and we'd be back to the other end again. And it just had that vibe. We just felt like we were playing downhill and everybody else is playing uphill. And it was just so much fun. And after that, we had the hand pass game in the Western Conference Finals. And everybody's kind of like, oh, here we go. But, obviously Berube corrected the ship there, and we dominated San Jose from there on out. And that was what was cool, too, was from there, we started opening the building for away games. And from there on out, I played every game of the Western Conference Finals and the Stanley Cup, all 7 games at Enterprise Center, whether it was home or away.
Well, I'm glad you felt nice and calm during Game 7, because me and my husband were there, and I don't think I talked to him for like 2 hours. I sat there like this the whole time, just super tensed up. But shoot, once Patty Maroon put in the net, then yeah. But even though the hand pass game, though, at that happened, I was like, we're done. We're gonna lose now. That's it. My husband was so confident about it, and sure enough, but. Before Game 6 of the final, though, he didn't eat, he didn't sleep. It was rough, but that was definitely one of the best summers of, I'm sure, a lot of people's lives in St. Louis, because Cardinals were playing good too, so that was it was just fun.
Yeah, when I tweeted after that game, after the hand pass game, we're gonna win the next 3 games, and we did. And you go back in my Twitter timeline and find it; it's on there. So I had confidence we were gonna do it. We had we played the long game, I guess, versus the short game. And, Coach, Berube had a plan, and we were just wearing the San Jose Sharks down, and they were lucky that they won that game. And then we just, they had I think maybe 7 healthy guys by the end of that round. I mean, we just wore them into submission. And, you could kind of see, I felt like I could see it. I don't know if everybody could, but I just, like I said, I was very confident.
Let me ask you this. You brought this up earlier when you were yeah, I'll ask him. Holding up the Stanley Cup, and you said the PA announcer passed it to you. So amongst all the behind the scenes workers for the Blues or even the Cardinals, do you all know each other, and do y'all hang out outside of work?
Yeah, I mean, especially the game night crew, we all know each other, really well. The PA announcer and the DJ and myself, and the mascot, and we have a game director and a video room, and we all have to interact quite a bit during games. And after games, the DJ and I will hang out a little bit and maybe have an adult beverage after the game, and just kind of talk shop about what happened that night and kind of break it down. And this is what I thought maybe next time we could do differently, or I liked what you did at this point of the game, and that kind of thing. And sometimes other coworkers will join us, and but we've hung out a few times outside of work too, or we'll text each other when we're not at the game. I just texted with the DJ the other day from the Blues, and So we all kind of keep in touch.
So leading into that, I'm glad that you brought that up. Can you kind of give us a behind the scenes of a daily routine of, let's say, going to a Blues game first, 7:00 start? Can you give us like your routine of you know, what time you arrive there? Are you told to play a certain set list when you do your thing? Just give us a little behind the scenes of a daily 7:00 game at Enterprise Center.
So for the longest time, we'd have they still do have a pregame meeting for the game night folks about 2.5 hours before puck drop. And I went to that for a long time. And I think I've reached veteran status enough that they'll let me not have to come to that, which most of the time I know what I'm doing. Like, it's mostly for like the video guys, the camera guys to know where they're supposed to be at a certain time, those kinds of things. So thankfully the Blues allowed me to skip out on that pregame meeting. And I get there about an hour before the game, or about an hour and 15 minutes before the game. And I play it about 20 minutes, I guess, to a game. Well, about like 40 minutes before the game. I play when the team comes out to take pregame warm-ups. And that's kind of my first job of the night, playing for that. And, you know, then once the game goes, you know, it's kind of just, we kind of go with whatever's happening on the ice. Some of it's scripted out, like as far as TV timeouts and intermission. But like once play is happening, anything can happen, and we have to be ready to do anything really any time. So there's no script for that. It's just the game dictates what we do. And then after the game ends, you know, we all kind of have our roles for things that, you know, who plays what, if, you know, we win or if we lose. And then, like I said, after that, we, you know, we're free to go. And I usually hang out with the DJ and we talk shop and call it a night.
So now with the Cardinals, let's say it's a 12:00 game. What time are you getting there? What's the routine for Busch Stadium for a 12:00 game?
12 o'clock, I'd probably get there maybe like 10:45.
Okay.
Well, I guess we usually play like the 15 after. So if it's like 12:15, I get there like 10:45. And then I start pregame maybe at like anywhere between 11:30 and 11:40. And then I'll play up until about noon. And that's when they do the like the national anthem and the starting lineups and those kinds of things before the game starts.
Okay. And what about for 7:15 or 6:45 game? I guess you get there around 4, 5 o'clock.
Yeah, like if it's a 7:15, I'll get there, you know, 5:45 to 6, and then same thing, you know, I'll start about 6:30 to 6:40, and then play up until about 7 o'clock, and same kind of thing there. And then once in baseball, it's a little bit more free. Like in hockey, you have to wait for a whistle to play. And there's a game director who will tell me, hey, next whistle, we're going to have the organ, or the next whistle, the DJ is going to play, or we're going to have a video prompt or whatever. With baseball, it's a little bit more laid back, and the pitch clock has played a little bit of part of this, but like I can pretty much play between every pitch all game long. But in between innings stuff is all kind of scripted out. But whenever there's action going, I can pretty much play whenever. And, you know, unless like I've had like 8 foul balls in a row, the DJ kind of lets me do my thing. And it's usually just me. So
I got 2 words for you. When I say these 2 words, let us know about how you feel about it. Charles Glenn.
He's awesome. I love Charles. Got to I had the great fortune of getting to accompany him a few times on the organ, and which is no easy task because Charles goes with the Holy Spirit, and who knows, he does his own thing, and I just got to hang in there and follow him. But I loved it. I loved every minute of it, and I've got to accompany him a few other times besides the anthem. We've done some stuff at the away parties at Ballpark Village. He's like, hey, do you know this song? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And we'd play and sing and entertain, and a sadder moment, but a nice moment in the Blues organization was when Bobby Plager passed away, and they'd asked Charles and I to do the music for his funeral, and getting to work with Charles made it a little bit easier for me, and it was a hard moment for everybody, but it was great getting to work with Charles for that, and the music, you know, for Bobby's funeral was beautiful, and it was a touching moment for both of us too, and I love Charles. He's a great guy.
That's awesome. Because I was just about to ask you, has there been a moment where you've, you know, been maybe overcome with emotion whether it was just hearing Charles Glenn or like you said before with Plager. So would you say that has been that most touching, emotional moment that you've ever experienced in your career?
Yeah, certainly in sports, it's because it transcends sports. It's very, it's flesh and blood people who make up the organization, and Bobby was, really the fabric of the organization. He was kind of the heart and blood, and that's the heart that represents the number 5 in your heart, and number 1 in your program, or number 1 in your heart, number 5 in your program. But that was Bobby, and everybody loved Bobby, and he was such an awesome dude. And to be asked to play music for his funeral was one of the greatest honors of my life, and getting to do it with Charles was even better. And he deserved it. He was so kind to everybody, so nice. I was really nobody and just started playing, and he'd always, come, hey, how you doing, Mr. Boyer? And great, Mr. Plager, good to see you. And just a great guy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, because you are a senior in regards to your time with the Blues and now the Cardinals, or do they give you free reign to maybe freestyle a song come up in your head? You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and play this and do this and have a little fun and see how the crowd reacts. Can you do that?
Yeah, and I feel like I've always kind of had that ability to do that. I don't think either team's like, hey, don't play that. Not so much. There's maybe a couple of times I've had a manager that was like, kind of more strict about what we did, but for the most part, I've been able to do whatever I wanted to do. Recently at Cardinals, so I don't know if you know the Super Mario Brothers movie that just came out. There's a song called Peaches in that, and my daughter loves it. And it's like there's, like I said, 5 or 6 foul balls. It's like, what do you play? And you play that, and like the kids that are that age love it, and they're just like, that's cool. Like, can't believe the organist played that. The song that we're into at this moment. And so I like to do that kind of stuff, and I try to mix it around and play something like DJ. You got to kind of like mix it up, and can't do just one thing. You got to kind of entertain the whole crowd. I can't focus on one like specific genre or whatever. I feel like I try to have to spread it out so everybody has a little bit of something to grab onto.
Every time I'm at a Blues game, I'll be hearing you play dun, 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 dun,
exactly.
Like, yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Keep it live in hip hop.
Yeah.
Right.
Like you said, different genres. Cause I love rock and roll, don't you? Yeah. I'm sorry.
Do it all. Yeah. I love Snoop Dogg. I get to see. I'm seeing Snoop Dogg with my daughter's second time this summer. I'm super excited to see him. And but yeah, I love all kinds of music. I try to pull things from everywhere, and like I said, spread the love.
And especially when you mentioned about Super Mario movie that just came out. I'm thinking back when we were playing Nintendo in the 80s or late 80s.
Yeah.
And when you died, what's the noise they make when you used to die? Like that'd be something like for strikeouts or something. I was wondering like how do they get creative if thinking of the music to play when something bad happens, so like an opponent striking out or just different stuff. I didn't know if you and DJ, you all pre-game, y'all go over this stuff or it just comes to you and you just try it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the Cardinals, they kind of have free reign as far as when the play is going on. At Blues, it's kind of like it's a little bit more like a musical marriage of sorts with me and the DJ. We've been doing this for, I just finished my 16th season, and he's been there that whole time. And we kind of know each other's tendencies a little bit. And sometimes if there's a moment where the director doesn't say, hey, next whistle is organ or DJ, we kind of, if something happens, sometimes we kind of know what the other person's going to do a little bit before they do it, or that tendency. And so that works out well. I think that camaraderie and that longevity of us working together.
That picture dope. Right there, Fred, just showed those like you get reins too now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Does it got your name on it, or is it just like I don't know, just blank or whatever? I don't know.
Yeah, they got awesome. The Cardinals 2013 National League Championship ring, which I was shocked. Again, I didn't play all the games. I did play quite a few games that season, but whenever the Cardinals were like, "Hey, what ring size are you?" I'm like, "Are you kidding?" So that was awesome, and definitely a a very proud moment, but a moment I'll always remember. And then the Blues, we won the Stanley Cup, and my Blues ring's a little bit more blingy than my Cardinals ring. It's the first ever Stanley Cup ring, and they called me and they're like, "Hey, Jeremy, we have some bad news." I'm like, "Oh, what's that?" And they're like, "Hey, you're gonna have a little bit harder time playing next year because you're gonna have a little bit more weight on your finger." I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like how they do it. Well,
Yeah,
you put
right,
organization, so you earned it. I believe. You do all the hard work. The fact that the Cardinals, hopefully sooner than later, win another World Series, you get a ring with them too. Because hey, y'all part of the home team. You make our experiences lively. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I guess
they're
it
both
just
great organizations to work for.
Yeah, I guess it just depends. I mean, I'm sure most organizations do that, I don't know if you can see back there. I am also an Astros fan. Don't ask about all of it, but like they give me crap every. You can ask me. I've been an Astros fan since the Biggio days. I love them. I'll always love them. But they're when I watched their games, they were talking about when they had their ring ceremony, like even the cooks and everything got rings, which I thought was awesome. Just like everyone got a ring. So it's a team effort, to get those guys to all the way to the finish line. So that's just really cool that, organizations do that.
Yeah. And not every organization does it. And I'm blessed to work for two great organizations who take care of their employees. And, I can't be more happy to work for those guys. And they take care of their employees. And I'm super proud to work for the Blues and the Cardinals, of course. And I did get to go to the Astrodome back in the day. This is probably like 1991 or 2. And I saw the Astros play the Braves back in like the Smoltz, Glavine, Maddox era. And it was cool because in the Astrodome behind home plate, like behind that first section of seats, the lower, section was the organist. And he was just out on the concourse. And it was really cool to get to see him. That was an early organ moment that I remember getting to see. And of course, they'd have to move the organ in because it never rained in there because it was a dome. So I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, that is cool right there in the action, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I actually saw a photo, and I wish I would have had it ready for you. But I saw a photo of you playing the organ, and you like 15 feet from the ice rink.
Yeah. So that would have been in Kansas City at the Sprint Center, or I think it's a T-Mobile Arena now or something. I don't know. But we'd play an exhibition game there a few years, and I get to go over there and play for the Blues. And it was like Blues and Kings, or like the Blues and the Minnesota Wild. And we'd play a preseason exhibition game there. And one year I was like right by the Zamboni corner where the Zamboni comes out at. And I really couldn't see anything because you're too close to really see the action or where the puck is. So
Right.
it was a cool experience getting to see it that close too, because I'm usually up high, which is better for seeing the play. But yeah, that was very cool.
Another cool moment for you was you being able to play at Busch Stadium for the Winter Classic. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've done the big three. I got to play for the Stanley Cup Championship. I got to play for the Winter Classic, and I got to play for the NHL All-Star Game. I don't really know what else there is that's cooler than that. I mean, right now at least, those are the kind of the big three events for the NHL, and I've got to do all three, thankfully. And the Winter Classic was awesome. It was kind of weird for me though, because I play at Busch Stadium too, so to get to play hockey there was kind of like being at home, but not being at home. Like, some of the people I work with, the Cardinals, were there. It was kind of like a clash of both worlds. So it was a very unique experience, but I loved it. It was awesome. And I don't know how many organists, probably none, have played both for a baseball game and a hockey game in the same building like that.
And what would you say has been your favorite moment while being an organist for the Blues and for the Cardinals?
I mean, so many. I mean, lots of great memories, great players for both organizations. Obviously, winning the Cup is awesome. All those games leading up to that were awesome. That Stanley Cup run, even the 2016 season, we went to the Western Conference Finals. Got to play for several hat tricks. We had Martin Brodeur for a time, which was cool. pretty much all of David Perron's career at home I've got to play for, which he was the longest tenured Blue, I guess, as far as like, even though it was split up different times. It's pretty cool. At Cardinals, this past season, how special was that getting to play, Albert Pujols' last year and the run to 700 and all those years with Yadier Molina and Wainwright. It's, just a culmination of all that has been pretty awesome.
So when people hear like us, dun 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 dun, it's how great of a feeling is it to always play that song opening day or just every day at Busch Stadium, and even maybe sometimes at Enterprise, just to get everyone going.
Yeah, I mean it really has become kind of like the St. Louis sports anthem. If there was a national anthem for St. Louis sports, that's probably the one. Ernie started actually playing that at the arena first, he said, for Blues and for I think St. Louis Steamers or one of the soccer teams, and later on started playing it at Busch as well, and it caught on. And you hear that, and that's one of the cool things about organ music too, I think, in general, is that, like, no offense to DJs, but if you play Metallica or DMX or whoever, it's going to sound the same pretty much in every building, and there's really no distinguishing. But for the Organist, there's certain songs that are only played in St. Louis or only played in Chicago, and you can tell, like, sometimes even hearing who the Organist is, if you listen to enough games, well, they're in Chicago or they're at Wrigley Field or they're at Busch Stadium, just from the sound of the organ, which is kind of neat.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and give y'all that, y'all Organist, y'all cool. But tell us about the COVID season, about the Enterprise and at Busch. I know that that had to be a difficult and weird time for you.
Yeah. At Blues, we always had fans. I don't think we ever played any games without fans, because when they didn't have fans, they were at the bubble, which they did ask me to record videos of me playing because they wanted it to be like as much a home game as they could. But they wouldn't let me come to the building to record, so I had to record on my home organ, which didn't have the exact same sound, but it was an organ. And they sent it, and I get I'd be home watching it, and they'd be playing in Edmonton, and they'd cut away, and they could see me playing on the video board, 2,000 miles or 1,000 miles away, whatever it is. So that was kind of interesting. And then when we were back in St. Louis, the following season, and we had, like, I think 300 fans to start with, it was just cool getting to have people back and starting to get that little bit of that, because when you're at the game all the time, it's kind of a sense of family, and kind of seeing some of those family members back. And Cardinals was super weird because there were nobody but the cardboard cutouts. It was like a post-apocalyptic something. You go through the concourse, there's nobody. You go to the parking lot, there's no crowd. It was crazy. It was weird. And they had like the fake crowd noise, and the guy who did the fake crowd noise is like sitting right next to me, and he'd get a little bit louder whenever I'd play. And I don't know, it was weird. I mean, I'm glad I got to play, and those other folks who depend on that income maybe more than I do were able to do their jobs and still get to make some money. But it was weird, and it was tough, and I'm hoping we never go through that ever again.
You mentioned the videos. I like, I guess there are away games whenever the Blues are in the playoffs. You post on your Twitter every time we score. It looks like you got a little like nightclub going on at the house with the lights going. You're playing the organ, the goal scoring sound. But yeah, I like whenever you do that.
Yeah, I got like the smart bulb set up so whenever the team scores it, like it'll play like the goal horn or whatever, and like the lights will all flash red initially and then to blue and gold, and I'll run to the organ room and play a little When the Blues Go Marching In or whatever. So it's always fun, and folks come over and hang out at the house and watch games. Always usually enjoy that and ask me, why don't you go over and play this? So I usually don't get a bunch of time off, but I enjoy it, and it's fun to entertain.
Yeah, that's awesome. And once again, this is your Wednesday night sports delight, the platform sports talk show. I am your boy Smooth. Right above me in the kitchen, we have
it's your girl Bunny,
and
chilling in her man cave,
Joe.
And we have special guest
Jeremy Boyer.
There you go. No rehearsal. He was ready for it, and we appreciate it. So before we let you go, Jeremy, this has been an incredible interview, so we definitely appreciate it. Outside of St. Louis teams or players, do you have a favorite team and favorite player? Could be past or current.
Yeah. Right now with hockey, I'm pulling for Florida. St. Louis boy Matthew Tkachuk. I think it'd be cool for him to get to win a cup, and he's a great player. And I'm sad that we missed out on signing him here in St. Louis. I'd love to have him play for us. I remember whenever he was just a kid. My daughter was about the same age as he is, and they were just little kids whenever, early in my career. And I remember going out on the ice, and I think it was Keith Kachuk's last game, and Matthew and his brother Brady was out on the ice, and I'm like, hey, there's the Kachuk kids, which we didn't really think much about it other than that at the time, but now they're studs in the NHL. So I'm rooting for for Matthew to win the Stanley Cup for the Florida Panthers. With baseball, I do root for the Kansas City Royals whenever they're not playing the Cardinals, and I have got to play over there a few years, and just for special events. They don't have an organist, unfortunately, full time, but they bring me over for certain events, and I love playing over there too. And it's a beautiful ballpark, and a high school classmate or not a classmate of mine, but a guy who went to my high school plays for them, and so I root for the Royals whenever they're not playing the Cardinals.
So we've been talking in the past, and especially like Bunny and Joe, about the fan experience at Busch Stadium. And we know now we got that Bud Light section on the top right, at Busch Stadium where people can just come in. You can pay for a monthly or yearly thing, very affordable prices and everything. And once again, this is a safe space. You want a sports talk show. So if you have the option, what do you feel Busch Stadium can do to better enhance the fan experience at baseball games? Like, for instance, I love seeing the Ryan Helsley entrance, especially at nighttime, and it's dark and you see the red or orange, whatever it is. But just from your point of view, what do you feel Busch Stadium can do to better enhance the fan experience, to bring even more youth and different cultures to enjoy the whole experience of a baseball game?
Definitely more organ music. No, I'm just kidding. I do think that there's a lot. I mean, I can't speak for everybody, and I don't really, I do come to games as a fan whenever I'm not playing at times, and I have a blast. I enjoy a lot of the things that go on. I love the Helsley thing, and I know that's something that the guys in the scoreboard room try to do more of, and constantly get better at the graphics and the different productions. And I think some media outlet had talked about how many different promotional items the Cardinals do this year. And I mean, it's crazy. Sometimes there's like 2 or 3 different items a night. Right. Sometimes it's like everybody 16 and up. Sometimes it's, theme tickets and those kind of things. And I think they do that really well. And like, I'm doing a commercial right now on KMOX where it's my voice talking about doing SEMO night, which is my my alma mater. And so they have a SEMO night special with the show band from Southeast, which I played in, the basketball band, who will be playing at the game in the Bud Terrace, and they'll have a SEMO head. And they do it for the Illini and Mizzou. And so I do think they do a good job of reaching out to different, cultures and different people of different backgrounds to have a special night at least. And hopefully everybody enjoys those things and gets to come in and have fun with those.
That's awesome. What's going on with our Cardinals right now?
Pitching, or lack thereof. I think I really feel like that's the thing. I mean, I think we go as our pitching goes. We do have the offense, and I know that they could probably be a little bit better, and the defense could be a little bit better. But I think by and large, it's if the pitching were better, I think that's where the Cardinals are going to improve at. I don't like scapegoating Wilson Contreras. I mean, he's been an all-star. He's been a World Series champion. He didn't come here and just start to suck. I mean, yeah. He's a good guy and a good player. And, yeah, he had a great game the other day against Chicago. He's got a big heart. He plays with a lot of enthusiasm. I don't see him just showing up unprepared and not caring. Like, he wears his emotions on the sleeve. And, he's a very fiery guy, and he's a very fierce competitor. And the Cardinals need that. And I wish he was back behind the plate, and I don't think we lose anything by him being there. I think the pitchers need to execute pitches They need to show
Yes.
up. They need to quit making excuses and pitch. And I think that's the number one thing. If the pitchers start pitching, I think everybody else starts to kind of fall into place.
Well, I
No,
believe
and
the pitching, they're just not good at what they're pitching. They need to get better pitching. That's what it is.
And they could do that.
Yeah. All right, like I said before the show started, we were sitting here chit-chatting about the Cardinals, and I said we could sit here and talk hours about the Cardinals, honestly. Like it's not early anymore. Wilson has said that himself, but it's only May, and there's so many negative storylines about this team. But yeah, like Bunny said, should have. I mean, there's pitching out there, and you have abundance of outfielders and now an abundance of infielders, and I'm sure there's trades that could have been made in the offseason. I don't know. It's been aggravating, but I wanted to ask you in regards to this is what is it like? Because I've heard multiple people say they have never heard the boos that they heard the past week at Busch Stadium for the Cardinals. You know, might have booed like Chris Bryant or something like that, but never anything like this. So, what was it like being at the stadium with that going on? Because I've heard it's been deafening down there.
Yeah, it's not a fun experience. I mean, everybody wants the Cardinals to be good, and I know Ollie had said that nobody's more frustrated than us, but they don't know. He doesn't know Cardinal fans apparently very well because Cardinal fans are plenty frustrated. And I know it's not a competition, right? I mean, both could be, and I'm sure they're frustrated just as much as the fans are, but it's not a competition. Both can be frustrated at the same time. And Cardinals fans, I think, are well-meaning, but they can see the things I think we see too, where they know we've got a great defense, they know we've got a great offense, and they knew we could have upgraded pitching, but we decided to not maybe upgrade pitching. I don't know, and I think they're frustrated by that, and they like we could be better, and we're not getting the help we need, and I think the players feel that a little bit too.
Jeremy, I commend you because you said we. I would just point directly to management. They knew we could have gotten better pitching, decided not to. They try to throw Contreras under the bus. Let's throw them under the bus. They didn't do their job. They also have a disconnect from the new Cardinal Nation, or let's just say new. The old Cardinal Nation of people that are older that probably wouldn't be booing like the fans are now. They probably forgot that we do have a new generation of fans, and they're not going to hold their tongue. They're going to give it to you raw and uncut. Boo you, boo everybody. Everybody's bad. All the media outlets, the management / owner needs to hear this, because what you all thought about only the baseball writers or some of the broadcasters may talk about, and that's it. No, you're getting it raw and uncut from the fans who affect how much money you make, and they will stop showing up. Again, the Cardinal Nation of the old will be like, okay, we'll still come out support. It's transition to, no, we don't like y'all. We're going to keep our butts at home. And I think that has management's attention finally, even though we've been saying this for like the last 2 years. But yeah, this is what they deserve, management-wise.
Yeah. And I'll echo what Wilson Contreras said is I'm just an employee. So, I just do my thing, and I wouldn't want Mo's job, to be honest. I mean, I'm sure it's a tough job, and I'm sure he has a lot of things to have to try to balance and do and pull strings sometimes that we have to do here in St. Louis. Maybe they wouldn't in New York or LA, but we do have an abundance of middle infielders. We have abundance of outfielders, and it feels like at some point maybe that shoe's going to drop and somebody's going to get traded. I don't know what'll happen, but I feel like something's got to happen. You can't have 2 or 3, shortstops or 2 or 3 second basemen, and then, your stud rookie of the year candidate playing in Memphis. I mean, it's just something's going to have to happen at some point.
Yeah, it's been I'm usually very negative about the team going into the year because I feel like the team could be better. And this is the one year that I was like, you know what? I like the depth that we have. We'll play okay baseball, trade for a pitcher at the deadline, and make a nice run. I never should have been positive about it because it hasn't been good. But I will say, like, I've been really surprised and happy and kind of shocked how well Wilson Contreras has, taken all this. It's been negative. Every media outlet, MLB Network, that new podcast, Foul Territory, The Athletic, and then we go to Chicago when all this stuff's happening, just all the attention on him. And he's been a pro about it, So because like as a Cardinals fan watching him in Chicago, you hated the guy. He said it himself, you don't like playing against him. He always kind of seemed like a punk and cocky, and now that he's here, I think he's handled this perfectly, honestly, and he's going out and he's still playing good baseball, and he's happy, he's smiling, and I don't know. All I'm saying is I've been very impressed by him so far, and hopefully, like he said, he gets back behind home plate at some point, and Jack Flaherty no longer has a 6.18 ERA because of him and all that good stuff. So,
yeah,
Well,
I mean, it didn't
well,
help
Joe,
Flaherty last night either.
Right, I'm about to say, according to Jack Flaherty, Joe, you don't know baseball.
yeah, like shoot, we could do an hour on Jack Flaherty alone. Like, oh man, I haven't liked that guy for a long time. He's a bum. You can't sit there, and he's pretty much the one that blamed Wilson Contreras last week to the media. Right. He loses his job as the starting catcher, and then now his ERA went up even more.
Yeah.
Look at that picture.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Jeremy.
The picture you have William McGee in there, right next to Flaherty, and I got to tell a funny story. We played this last series against Detroit, and they tried to squeeze bunt, and one of the guys in the scoreboard room were joking about how the Cardinals were probably all like, "Is that legal? Can you do that?" And everybody's like, "Only Willie McGee has ever seen it happen." And they're like, they talked to Willie, and Willie's like, "Yeah, we used to do this all the time."
Yeah, that's a good joke, but that's facts.
Yeah, true. Like, and you don't see it anymore.
Right.
And I do want to add on in regards to the Contreras situation. Yes, it was terrible how everything has played out in regards to Contreras being a scapegoat when he is not the reason why the pitching sucks. Also, the organization, they knew from the moment they signed him what he was about. And for them to go ahead and put him out there and say, well, we're going to work with him on this and that and the third, it's a terrible look. And I just hate the fact that they're so quick to point out someone else's faults, but not their own. As soon as they want to have a press conference about what they talk about with Wilson Contreras and but not one time did you hear our pitchers need to take more accountability and show up and do their jobs. We as management has to do a better job in preparing our players to play better and do better. That's the part that I didn't like in regards to how this whole thing is going down, which leads me to this man here, in which you saw the tweet I left last night, Jeremy. I'm not sure if you saw it in the comments. A lot of people, they and I loved it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it's all about. I want to get the pulse and get the vibes. But it's just so funny to me how people say, oh, it's only a 3-game winning streak. This the Cubs, whatever it is. First off, they're supposed to beat the Cubs. This is how it is because we are a more talented team. But it's funny how you leave a tweet and say, oh, just 3 games. He ain't proved nothing yet. But it's just 1 month into the season, and y'all trying to fire Ali Marmol already. Like, really? Like, there's no way in satisfying. And of course, we love our St. Louis Cardinal fans. That's not going to change. But you've seen it on Twitter and whatever else. People just don't be having no minds nowadays in regards to their thought process. 1 minute, oh, he's a great manager, here we go. Prime example. They get mad if he speaks that normal jargon or doesn't keep it real or just says blase. But then the moment that he actually shows some fire and emotion, oh, well, now he's a bad guy because he's saying something you may not want it to hear. So it's like people are just so finicky in regards to their emotions and how they feel the team should be ran. But how much blame do you give Ali in regards to this season?
Well, again, I'm just an employee, so it doesn't really carry much weight. But I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it right now. Like, he's still young. Like, I wonder about like the Tyler O'Neill thing. Did that affect other players? Do they think that maybe he doesn't have his back? Do they feel unconfident in the field because they're afraid that they mess up that Ollie's going to call him out in the press conference. I mean, I don't know. I can't speak for them. And then with Contreras and all the different information that's been going around with, he's going to play outfield. Then Mo comes in the next day and goes, well, he's not going to play outfield. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'd see like a La Russa do that or a veteran manager, Dusty Baker do that in the same way. And I don't know. Maybe that's what Ollie was told to say. We don't know. Maybe that's what, Mo said, hey, this is what he's going to do. And Ollie's just saying it. And then Ollie catches the heat because he's the mouthpiece. I don't know. So it's kind of hard to decipher. I think it's outside of the pitching. I don't really know what to think exactly with what's going on otherwise.
Yeah, I don't think this is like, I've heard this on the radio, is last year Ollie had a lot of help with Yachty and Albert there all year for his rookie year. And then Mike Maddox and Skip Schumacher. It was a really good year for Cardinals baseball, for all those reasonings. And Ollie probably had a lot of help veteran-wise handling the media, this and that. This year, even last year, though, he's did the same exact thing to Harrison Bader, and Harrison Bader handled it like a pro. He took his day off, and he started playing good baseball again.
Yep.
Tyler O'Neill, everyone thinks that this whole season is because of the Tyler O'Neill thing.
No,
it's not.
No.
Like, the Cardinals have given Tyler O'Neill every single chance, every single opportunity. He wanted to be a center fielder. They gave him the center fielder job. He has not proved himself. The Tyler O'Neill thing is not the reason for all this. Do I think Ali Mamol could make better management moves? Yeah, but then again, we don't know what the meetings before the game is. Like, oh, hey, let's use Verhagen in this spot if we get to that point. The team has changed completely. They didn't know anything about analytics a couple years ago, and now that's all they care about. And I think that's one of the main things right there is they're just strictly analytical, and they don't actually have a feel for the game itself. And yeah, Ali gets the heat for all of it, but again, there's some things I do think he needs to take the heat for. But again, he's the poster child for it. Mozeliak literally went to the Athletic to do this, and not to the St. Louis media about all this Contreras stuff. Like, that's weird to me. We haven't seen Mozeliak a lot this year talking to the media, which has been kind of weird. So I don't know. It's been a weird year. That's all I'm saying. It's not in a good way.
Mo not talking to me. That's not weird. That's calculated. Clearly, because all the heat he knows he's going to get, and he doesn't want to face his head on that, yes, I'm the reason / the owner doesn't want to spend money on where we knew we had a deficit at pitching. So I'm not going to approach the media. I'm going to say, hey, Ali, this is part of your job to talk to the media after every game. You can talk to them. You only say what you can say, as I tell you, or what the WIT says, and that's it. But he doesn't want to talk because he knows he's going to keep getting the same questions, diverting it with the same BS answers, and then you can rewind the tape from last year to this year's interviews, the few that he's done, and it's the same BS. That's why he doesn't want to talk to the media, because it's nothing new, and we all know we get tired of it, and he's going to get tired of sitting there getting grilled. And he's like, you know what, Ali, it's part of your job description. This is part of your pay. Handle this. Flat out.
I mean, one thing I wonder, though, with the dugout and some of the managerial decisions, I guess, is nowadays, and especially like college ball, even like I would say minor league ball, maybe the majors too, is a lot of times the catchers aren't even calling the games anyway. It's the dugout. Mm-hmm. And the dugout can do it through pitch comm or through signs. And I wonder, they say it's, Contreras is having a hard time with like pitch selection and calling pitches, but like, does he even call pitches? I mean, is it the dugout calling pitches? And if not, Contreras, if he can catch it, why can't the dugout call? If they're not happy with this pitch selection, why not call it from the dugout? And then you can have what you want. And Contreras can still be back there catching.
This whole Contreras thing made me realize, like, I have always known how much Yachty has meant to this team and what he's meant to the city and the fan base, but like, I'm not 100% convinced that the organization knew exactly how much this guy did, because all we heard at the end of the year last year was, we're going to need a catcher and we need to make sure we make the correct decision. all the notes and signs were out there about Contreras, how like the Astros did not want to trade for Contreras last year at the deadline. There was a trade out there for Urquidy for Contreras, and Dusty Baker said no because he didn't want Contreras to handle a team, going down the stretch into the playoffs, into the World Series, and all that good stuff. But like all the signs were out there, so they went out there and gave him the biggest contract in Cardinals history. Got the Yachty approval for it, and now we're in May, and there's all this drama, and I don't know, it just shows me that they didn't know what they were doing, and Yachty was obviously running a lot more than anyone actually thought.
I mean, so here's my other thing with this, and you're right, Yachty was amazing, and I think a lot of people took him, they're like, oh, I can't wait till Yachty's done, he's a horrible hitter, but now you see what his value was. That said, like, lots of teams don't have Yachties, and their pitching staffs do fine. Like, everybody's not a Yachty. So it's like, why I don't understand pitting it all on the catcher either. It's
me neither.
And even the familiarity thing. It's like these guys came up from Memphis. They didn't have Andrew Kisner there either, and like, that happens in every team everywhere. So why does it have to be someone that's familiar? Or even in the World Baseball Classic, you pitch to a catcher that you've never maybe pitched to before, and even if it's like Real Muto from Philadelphia, he doesn't know what you throw that well, and does okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense.
Contreras has caught in the All-Star game for Max Scherzer before, and Jacob deGrom before, and I don't know. It's weird, but this does 100%, I think, give you even more clarification that Yachty's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, definitely.
But also, if you saw the reports, Contreras has been saying that, especially with 2 strikes, he want to see these pitchers pitch with some, with some fierceness, with some aggression. Like, you know what, I'm going to get you out. And he feels that the pitching staff is afraid to reach that next level. You saw how Jordan Hicks was at the beginning of the season, but now he's been doing much better. And this was while Contreras was catching that he's shown improvement. You had to pitch with conviction. And that's been the issue with this Cardinals team for a minute, is that they have been lacking conviction when you have men in scoring position or 2 strikes. It like they let up. If you think about it, I think it was 2019, and it was a game where Flaherty was pitching in Florida. And all you heard from Jimmy Edmonds at that time was Jack Flaherty is pitching too many waste pitches. Pitches that's not affecting getting the batter route. It's kind of like, oh, I'm just throw this ball outside or throw a slider all the way away from the plate, and it's not really affecting that pitching and that at bat. There's too many times where you're not pitching with conviction and saying, you know what, mentality wise, I'm about to strike this guy out or get this ground ball. It's too much. Let me see where this ball might go. So I feel like it's more mental than it is catching, because like I said, it's definitely not Contreras' fault, and game planning, because at the end of the day, you still have to execute your pitches. And Wainwright said that this morning on 101 ESPN, the pitchers have to execute and do their job. You're getting paid to do your job, and they, for the most part, have not done their job, and they want to blame Contreras for it.
Yeah. And can we give spoilers about what's happening right now at the game?
Oh yeah, please do. It ain't good at all.
So Kisner is catching the night, and probably our best pitcher this year was pitching, and it's 9-3 Cubs. So it's like,
right,
Kisner's behind the plate. Best
and
pitcher.
Bernie Michaelis tweeted out that it's a small sample size, but there's been a lot more damage tonight on 2-strike pitches than there was last week. So it's gone up a little bit. So I don't know. It's
a mess.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I picked them to win the division, make a deep run, and crazier things have happened, I guess. Not really. Only 3 teams have made it to the playoffs with this type of start of a season.
And we got to be thankful we won the series at least, because that hasn't happened in a while. So
Hey, we
baby
won the
steps.
first game of a series.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right. But I also say though, we're so deep in the cellar, third worst record in baseball. And in the division, we're at the bottom. We're so far down that we will have to put together a lot of winning streaks. And the division, who's the division lead right now? Was it the Brewers?
No, the Pirates.
The Pirates. They're gonna have to go on a big losing streak. We may. All right, we already 1 month plus under our belt, and here we are, still haven't solved how to get going to almost get to the middle of the division. So at this point, if you don't see any action done by Memorial Day for a trade, I would treat it like the Blues season. Chop it up as a loss already so early. Because there's no way we can come back and without depending on teams to lose a lot. It's just, like y'all said, it's so bad. Yes, it's so bad. But you know how Mo likes to do trades at the deadline. You can't wait to the deadline in July. It's way too long. If you don't do anything by Memorial Day, 2+ weeks, I would say put an L in this season and start over next year. Kind of how the Blues felt. They didn't say it until, they did the fire sale right before the trade deadline. But the Blues knew we weren't going anywhere by December. So here we are with the Cardinals, same thing. 2 weeks, do some trading, or give it an L for the season.
Yep. So, with that being said, Jeremy, it's been a pleasure to have you on our show. Talk about your experience and time as an organist and showing your love and passion for the Cardinals. So, thank you so much for being part of the Platform Sports Talk Show this evening.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Definitely
Thank
our pleasure.
you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Have a good night.
Have a good one.
Yeah.
You have a good one, brother.
You too.
All right. And once again, this is your Wednesday night sports delight, the Platform Sports Talk Show. I am your boy Smooth. And to my left on the screen, here we go. Over here. Here we go. With her little one we have.
Joe and Mia, you say hi.
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 And right now in the kitchen, we got.
It's my little one. Say hi.
Hey.
Hi.
It's a family affair. I love it. I love
Girl
it.
buddy.
You gonna wave? Oh, she got a little pot. She cooking? What's she cooking tonight?
Right. Pork like her mama just did. Some pork chops.
Well, ladies, I know it's about time for y'all to go ahead and leave. So I do want to say, I know I'm gonna chat with y'all leading up to it, but I just want to say right now on the Platform Sports Talk Show, happy upcoming Mother's Day.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Happy Mother's Day, Bunny.
Happy Mother's Day, Jovo. Hi, Mia.
Hi, guys.
You way too much.
Good evening.
You know what,
later.
Fred? Just to be on Team Jamie, go Golden State. All right, bye.
No.
Because they suck.
Let's go, Lakers. Boom, boom.
There you go. Let's go, Lakers. Let's go. All right, Bunny. And you have a good one as well, all right?
You too.
All right, y'all. I am not alone. The show continues to go on because right now, about to talk some basketball, NBA playoffs, as it is brought up. The Lakers are playing Golden State in a matter of minutes. We're going to talk about that and more with my dude. Man, this cat been holding things down, man. I've known him since high school, Beaumont High School. He was a star there. He did some big things in college. Now he's the head coach, been coaching for St. Mary's boys basketball team for quite some time now. He was part of the man cave, but, he's doing so much for the community, for the youth. So he had to go ahead and step back. But tonight he's coming in to show off his basketball knowledge. He has his own podcast going on YouTube, doing big things with that. And he is back on the Platform Sports Talk Show. My dude, BT, Brian Turner. What's going on with your brother?
Man, Smooth, man. That was a nice little introduction, man.
Hey, I do what I do. You know what I'm saying? Got a little experience in the game. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, that was dope, man. No, man, thanks for having me back on, man. Platform Sports Talk Show, man, is like I told you, man, you've been blessing us for so many moons, and man, it was just a pleasure, man, that you kind of introduced the game to me. Like I said, a lot of stuff back behind the scenes, folks may not know, man, but You know, I lean on you for a lot of different things, man, but I just appreciate you giving me this opportunity to come back on and we can talk a little hoops, man, because this has been a nice little playoffs, man. This is, I mean, I'm gonna say it's been one of the best in a while for me. And I know from other folks it may not, but man, from the first round on, man, it's been an exciting. Almost every night is like, man, a thriller. I mean, so
it has been.
So yeah, we can jump into it. I'm ready.
Yeah, man. And first off, man, I appreciate the love and just being there to be there for you and for others who, you know, need that little guidance, a little push to get them to where they want to be. So congrats on everything that you're doing with your podcast. I see you've been having great guests and you have your, you know, last minute, you know, shows doing this, doing that. So I love what you're doing with that, man. So congrats to you. And, you know, I'm always here for you. And thanks for showing love of me, you know, getting me into the Billikens games and everything like that too, man.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no doubt, man. Like I said, man, it's we got to lean on each other, man, in this day and age, man. You'd be surprised, man. There'd be so many folks that don't want to help folks out, but you can't get nowhere like that. So like I said, it's a nice brotherhood. We got to keep it going. And if there's more folks that want to get in the game or need some advice or some tutelage, I'm pretty sure you'll be there, just like I'm gonna be there for anybody up and coming in the realm of the things that we do. So
no doubt. So before we get to the NBA talk, real quick, let's keep it local. How has things been with St. Mary's High School? I know that we had to talk a while back, but there was a time frame where they were saying that it may close down and stuff like this. Mm-hmm. Now everything is looking back to normal, but just tell us about this past season and how things going with you for the summertime. I know you have summer camps coming up and everything.
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's man, we full throttle. I mean, right now it's man, a great incoming class that's coming in, and we got kids from all over, from the city schools, from the charter schools. It's just been an abundance of folks kind of rallying around the school, and it's like, you know, this has probably been the most vibrant that it's been within the last couple of years, with just the influx of just interest and kids wanting to be a part of some great things that our administration and our community have over in Dutchtown have going on. So yeah, we got a nice incoming class coming in. We're finishing up. I mean, it's a spring sport, so we have baseball, volleyball, track and field. Man, like you said, we getting started into like youth sports. We have youth sports, youth tournaments going on. I have a summer camp that is about to start maybe like I think it's the first week of June. And we full throttle, man. So it's you know, we had a little hiccup in the road at the beginning of the year, but when they made the huge announcement that the school was going to stay open, everybody's been working like crazy, trying to you know, put the foundation down on what the new St. Mary's is going to look like. But yeah, we're off and running, man. And yeah, if it's anybody that's interested in a nice, fun summer camp, I'm pretty sure we'll get the information out there. But man, full of basketball. Or just all sports, man. Football, basketball, soccer. We have esports, man. We got so many different things going on at the school. So yeah, it's real vibrant right now. You got graduations coming up. I think our seniors had their last day yesterday. So those young men are real excited about getting out of school. I remember my last couple days of high school, not really knowing what the future was going to hold. And so the future is going to hold some great things for these young men, but it's nice to see them kind of, you see them doing prom and you see them doing graduation, and, you know, those words of wisdom start sinking in real quick, because man, before you know it, you off to the races to grow as a man. So this is the fun time. This is a fun time of year for me. So
that's awesome, man. I see that Yuri isn't the only Collins that's balling here in the Lou.
Yeah, man. That family has, man, just all athletes all across the board, from mom, dad, and cousins. And we have two Collins boys, Zamir Collins, who ended up winning. He was all-state defensive end for our football team that went back-to-back as state champions. And then Zaire Collins, that's a sophomore. I mean, scored 1,000 points this year. He's actually right now the second in assists in the EYBL, which is huge because he's been known for being a scorer. I mean, this kid averaged 27 points a game for St. Mary's during the high school season, but to be able to flip it and switch it on to where he's averaging maybe 7 assists, second in the EYBL. And for those who don't know, that's like the Nike Elite Basketball Youth League, and it's like the highest youth league you can play in. And he's second in assists in the nation, and so that's huge to be able to show both sides of his game. Real excited about his future and just so much upside to him. And then Yuri is pursuing his dreams of playing at the next level. Hats off to him, and that kid is just working his butt off. And so yeah, they doing a great job over there with in the Collins family. So man, it's just a blessing to be able to know those guys. So
that's awesome, man. And continued success with what you're doing, man, for the youth and for the school, man. So keep that thing going. Now let's get into some professional basketball. First thing up today, it was just announced of the All NBA first team. Let's check this out real quick. Luka Doncic. Now this one may be a surprise to some, but this cat been balling. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has made All NBA first team. Of course, they have Giannis, St. Louis's own Jason Tatum, Joel Embiid. Did they get it right or did they get it wrong?
I mean, it's so much talent in the NBA, and it's kind of hard to say if they got it right. I think at the end of the day, the NBA is one of the it's a big business, and you have these guys that are if they're not shoe guys, they're on the verge of being shoe guys, and the tennis shoe game pretty much drives the NBA, and you got to have guys that have either their own shoe or can be the face of the NBA. And you see, you got Luka, which is a no-brainer that Jordan brand, he has his brand of shoe. You got the Giannis, which every kid around, if you're doing anything in basketball, you get the Giannis, the Greek freak shoe. Tatum has one of the top shoes out, and then you got Embiid. I'm very surprised, and I'm real surprised that the Joker is not on here. You go from winning the MVP one year to, again, the team is in the elite as far as has a chance to advance to the finals. I think they got it wrong not putting him on here. After you don't go from being the MVP to not being able to be first team All NBA. So, but like I said, it's a toss up. It's kind of not. You really can't pencil 5 guys down. Any day this thing can flip around. So,
and to me, 2 things about Luka. We all know that he is an incredible basketball player. He's a superstar. But over the last 2 years, yes, they made it to the Western Conference Finals last year. Mm-hmm. But just seeing this season alone, 2 things that stand out to me is the style of play that he has and that the team share. Because it seems like majority of the games is more of a let's see what he does first, and then they kind of go around him. It's not more of a passing the ball around, setting up guys. He's more so holding the ball a lot. And then second, it looks like his weight, his playing size is affecting him because he can be a better defender. And also, it looks like he just kind of looks a little bit sluggish because maybe throughout the season, he's not keeping in tip-top form, tip-top shape to be aggressive, to be that dude and carry a team, not just in the regular season, but because this year they didn't make the playoffs, which was a big surprise, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people are looking at him because he's not showing everything that he needs to show to be that guy that can lead a team to win a championship. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no doubt. We had this same conversation that comes up year in and year out with James Harden, and James Harden, his playing weight, versus when we see him, in like in the social media circle, when he's motivated to lose weight and to be in the best shape of his life, he's probably one of the top players in the league. And we see that in this series with Boston, and so Luka is growing pains. The guy is young. Again, we pointed out he has his own shoe. He's probably the talk of the town in Dallas. He doesn't have to do much, but make sure that he probably plays almost every game. But it's hard to say what's driving him and what's motivating him. And I think this is going to be a huge eye-opening experience for him this offseason, because you can't tell me that him and Jason Kidd are not butting heads. The fact that they didn't even make the playoffs, and you got Luka and you got Kyrie on the same team. It's like, come on, you got to be able. Again, we talk about those shoe guys. You got two shoe guys on the same team. You should be able to get it done and at least make the playing game or the playoffs. So, yeah, it's gonna be a busy summer for him, but he's gonna have to get it in gear and come back with something. We always tell guys every year you should come back with a different weapon. So his different weapon next year could be easily his body. We call it driving a brand new car if his body is in shape. So he has to go back and try to see about getting a brand new car to play out this next season. So
no doubt. Now let's get right into playoff talk. So as you see on your screen, we are now in the conference semifinals. The Heat are currently up 3-1 against the Knicks, but they're right now losing by, I believe, 6 points at New York as they try to close out that series. Your thoughts in regards to this series, Heat and the Knicks?
Man, I mean, it's real refreshing to be able to see a New York team in the playoffs. Just the energy the energy of Madison Square Garden. Celebrity Row. You see all of the celebs coming out, and like it's real energetic. It's nice to be able to see those guys on TV playing in the mecca of basketball. But in my opinion, I think this series is pretty much over with. Let me check let me see what the score was. Well, the Knicks is kind of holding on. Well, the Knicks are holding on, but I just think once they go to Miami and you got young players on the team, New York, I mean, I just think it's gonna be it's gonna probably be over in Miami once they go there. So yeah, nice fight. It's good, like I said, to get them back in the mix of things, but I think this series is probably over once they go back to Miami.
Yeah, I think overall, just in my eyes, Miami is a better overall team in regards to coaching, chemistry, culture, the whole nine. And Jimmy Butler had just been freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson has been holding things down for the Knicks. Him and Barrett. Julius Randle has been the wild card throughout the series. One game he was hurt. One game he's not showing up. One game he's saying, well, maybe the team, doesn't really want it that well. Yeah. I'm not seeing a long-term future with him in New York. Maybe they try to make a trade. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, you go back to what you just said. Only thing that I would throw in there is when you talk about just the coaching aspect of it. Now, culture and organization-wise, right now, Miami is the better organization. I mean, they are a winning organization from top to bottom, and they have that pedigree. The coaching aspect, I think Tibbs has done a tremendous job, and I think he is the sole reason that organization is where it's at. But again, you start to get into the dysfunction of why the Knicks are the Knicks when certain things are coming out in the media that shouldn't really get out. And I think these guys are not, it's easy coming from us, but the New York media can make anything a story. Anything can be clickbait. Anything can be plastered on the front page of the New York Post, and it can trend, and it can get that locker room kind of out of wax. But you got young players, you got young guys that I feel like every organization is going to try to go after a guard like Jalen Brunson. I mean, that guy right there is just the epitome of just hard work, grit. I mean, putting them guys on his back, getting the job done. But again, the organization, we've seen this happen before. Do you go out and do you make a drastic move with getting rid of someone like a Randall or, blowing that thing all the way up? It's just like, I mean, I wouldn't do it. I mean, I would just try to see a way to, kind of work it out with that guy and not use him for like trade bait to get other pieces. Because, I mean, you have an established core there that you can grow, and and you got a coaching staff that's going to put them in positions to grow. Now, the window may be real small and short, because I know the knock on Tibbs is that, he get the most out of those guys, but you may only be able to deal with him for maybe 2 or 3 years, and he's going to drive you into the ground. But he got him there. So, but yeah, I think Miami is just the better overall team in that series.
Shouts out to our favorite fan, Miss Williams. She just now getting on. She had to finish her project for work. We understand, duty call. So we appreciate it. We had a great interview with Jeremy Boyer earlier. So of course you can watch that on the archive on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. So definitely check it out. This Dub. As you see, we have a return to the show. Been a little minute, but Brian Turner is back on the show talking some NBA playoffs right now. So let's continue on in regards to the bracket on the other side of the East. Philadelphia 76ers 3, Boston Celtics 2. This series here, man, this reminds me of the NBA Finals from last year when Boston had an opportunity to shut that door. And because of their last-minute possessions and decision making, they're now down 3-2 and not being up 3-2 or possibly winning the series 4-2. And it all goes down to, from what I've been seeing, Jaylen Brown and Justin Tatum don't know which role they want to take when it's time for pressurized situations down the clutch. It's like like that meme with Spider-Man with the one dude looking at him, other dude looking at him. Like they don't know who's going to be the guy to say, you know what, give me the ball. I got this. Get on my back. Let's go. And it's hurting Boston again in this series because they should be up in this series and now they're behind.
Yeah. I mean, you let a game slip away where Embiid didn't play, and you got to win that game. So now Embiid didn't play, and you don't get that W. You dig yourself a hole, and I felt like that was their opportunity to take advantage of that moment. Now, I do think it's going to go 7, and I do think that it's going to be. It's just, like you said, it just reminds me of just one of those old school, 90s playoffs, man. Grit, back and forth, one possession game, each possession, but ultimately the better team will prevail. I just, they got to get it together, man. Boston got to get it together. But again, what do you see that's different than last year than this year for Boston? It's like, the coaching staff, like it's just when we talk about the instability from top bottom, from the top all the way down, it's we're starting to see the cracks. But like I said, this needs to happen. I think they can get over the hump, and it'd be real nice if we can get a classic series in the finals between two old school matchup games. But again, the cracks are there, but they got to be able to pull it out. But in the end, I feel like Boston is going to pull it out because they've been there with the experience. So we'll see.
It is refreshing to see James Harden show up in the playoffs too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No doubt. It's like one of those things where it's not a coincidence when you watch like the World Cup. And you've heard all these certain names always popping up, the Neymars, the Messis, this and that. And those guys that you always hear are playing for the high stakes. And now James Harden has been a name you've always heard, a marquee player, no matter what. He's been a $200-300 million person. Right now, he's showing why he's that, and it's been vintage, and it's one of those things that is just like, man, y'all let this guy get loose. Out of all people, y'all let him get loose. So
Ms. Dub says she hoped the Celtics can pull it off. She loved to see Tatum get a ring. And update, the Knicks did win. They won by 9 points. So now game 6 will be in Miami on Friday. So definitely stay tuned for that. She also says if the players are having trouble knowing their role, that's on the coach. See, that's where I disagree. because you have to have that it. You know what I'm saying? The coach may call a play, but if you feel like, you know what, this team needs a spark or needs something different so we can go over the hump, that's when great players say, Coach, I respect the play call, but let's run this because I got this. And that's what Boston, to me, is lacking, is that player to be between Tatum and Brown. It's like, okay, let's come together. Remember how Dwayne Wade was like, hey, you know, this is my city, you know, the whole nine, but this LeBron's team, you know, in order for us to win, I gotta fall back and let LeBron be that guy.
Yeah.
If Jaylen Brown and Tatum wants to continue to be together and he wants to go all the way, they need to have that talk and be like, hey, when it's clutch time, I need you to do your thing. And I'm gonna be right here every step of the way. That to me is what's lacking with Boston.
Yeah, I think it's not, again, it's the culture, and then I think also too is the not as far as the coaching X's and O's, but the coaching as far as the empowerment of certain things. Like you right now on this team, it should be no surprises. You know, who we're looking for, who's the number one option versus the number two option. But at the same time, the game is full of adjustments. So if we know that that everybody's know Jason is going to be the first option in maybe the first two series, when we go back to let's say we go on a roll in the next two series, we got to find a way to stop Jason. Now all of a sudden, all right, the second option is going to be open. They still haven't figured out that first one to where what is going to happen when someone makes the adjustment. And then long term, and not just in this series, but long term, they have to make a decision. I feel like they got to make a decision on what route do they go. Can you get another Jason Tatum? Can you get another Jason Tatum in the league? Or can you get another Jaylen Brown in the league, you know, from what they do? And I think you got to make a decision on who is expendable during that time. So yeah, it's tough. It's a tough decision. That's why I'm staying right here at this little high school level, so I don't have to make the decisions of who I'm gonna go with. Two big all-stars. But but again, it makes for good basketball content for us to watch every night and intrigue on, all right, what's going to happen? Who's the story now? Who is it going to be on? Or who fault is it for this? You know, so that's what makes this time the fun time of the year.
And I'm just that guy that I don't want to wait till the coach tells me, hey, this is your moment. I want to see that guy just say, you know what? I want this. Let's go. Come on with it. And I think that's just what's lacking with Boston. So now in the West, let's talk about the Nuggets and the Suns. Series is right now 3-2. Denver is up. They go back to Phoenix. They try to close things out. Your thoughts in regards to this series, which has been pretty amazing. Once again, Chris Paul is hurt. It's the time of the year.
Right.
he had to get hurt in the same injury, pretty much, the groin. Around this time. But your thoughts in regards to the overall series?
All right, to all the people listening out there, man, please stop comparing Devin Booker to Kobe. Like, let's just stop it right now. You know, what is he having an amazing year? He's having an amazing year. He's having an amazing career. But come on, man, we going way overboard when somebody is having. You know, he had a couple good games. We've seen this before, but at the same time, just stop it with the comparisons of, you know, Kobe, Devin, this and that. It's ridiculous. All right. And in this series right here, it's interesting because again, the dynamic of someone like the Joker, man, is just, I mean, he's just a different type of animal. And what I would say is whoever wins the next round between the Lakers and the Warriors, they better be hoping and praying that they don't see Denver, because like I said, that's a whole nother animal that they have to deal with that big boy. But yeah, I mean, it's what we expected. Chris Paul gets hurt this time of the year because at that position, being that type of goal, you have to have a different role. Now, Phoenix is playing a lot faster with him out. I think that's a plus. But at the same time, I mean, you got a key piece and a key component of how you've been playing all year with that engine like that, and that floor general and that floor master being out there to where he's not there at this time of the year. I think it's going to hurt Phoenix, and Denver's gonna end up pulling this out.
And it has been reported that Chris Paul will not be playing tomorrow because of his injury. So that's now some people were saying that Phoenix has been playing better since Paul hasn't been on the court.
Yeah,
it looks like there has been moments where you feel like if they had his leadership, maybe they would have won last night's game as well. So, it kind of depends on the flow of the game, the matchup, the whole nine. But overall, just to me, like you said before, Denver, they are a juggernaut. And especially, of course, it starts with Jokic. And seeing, and this is my dude, I've been, supporting this dude since he went to Mizzou, but Michael Porter Jr., he has another level that he still hasn't reached yet.
Right. Yeah.
And when he does reach that level, because he what 6'10", 6'11",
yeah,
handles
with a jumper.
You know what I'm saying? He has another level. My thing is can you trust a Mike Malone led team to go and reach that next level of championship level? That's my thing for me.
Yeah.
Can Denver reach that? Because they've been right there. A couple years ago, they were in the conference finals, but then they'll fall off. Can this be the year that they finally get it together? Jamal Murray has to stay healthy.
Right.
They got some good role players. The bench is pretty nice, but that's the whole thing. Can a Mike Malone led team take that next step? And also in regards to the Suns, Aiden, huge disappointment. Huge. This was your opportunity, Aiden, to prove to the league that you are a dominant center, not just on offense end, but on defense. And the way that now we know Jokic, he's an MVP, he's that guy. But you still got to come up and show up and say, hold on, bro. I've been to the finals. I've been there. You haven't. Let me show you how to put in this work. And Aiden just has not done that.
So the thing is kind of like, what do you expect Aiden to do? Like, here it is. You playing against a big man who, I mean, first of all, he's bigger than you. He's stronger than you, more skilled. But at the same time, his best attribute is his passing skill. So, I mean, what are you going to do? It's kind of like you can't be a rim protector because, like, your best attribute is protecting the rim. His best attribute is putting it on the floor, making a pass to somebody else. So it's kind of like oil and water. If they able to move him away from the basket and you have to guard this man, well, now you just didn't open up so many different passing lanes for him to operate and play his game. And again, the playoffs is all about adjustments. They have to find a way to negate that. I think they did that in one of the games, might have been game 4, where the Joker had to be a scorer. I think he ended up with like 50-some points. But again, he probably don't want to have 50 points. Like I said, he want to have a triple-double, maybe 30, 10, and maybe 15 assists. And they walk out of there with a W. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to guard and stop someone like that. That's why I said that next round matchup, whoever that they get is gonna have their hands full with this big guy. And we're saying, can Malone have those guys reach the pinnacle? Well, we were saying this about Milwaukee a couple years ago. Could somebody be able to, bypass that? And what happened? Injuries played a part. Certain folks got hurt, went down, and the door was opened up. So I think this was a chance for Phoenix to advance, to get there. But, injuries played a part. And then you got someone that's a former MVP that's playing lights out and playing dominant basketball.
And last but not least, they playing right now. Golden State is up 6-3, but the Lakers are up 3-1 in the series. Once again, Lakers 3, Golden State 1. Your thoughts on this? I'm pretty sure a lot of people would say surprising turnout of the series.
Oh yeah, no doubt. And and I think I kind of talked about this a little bit on my live, where I said, that situation, people easily forget how a situation like they had at the beginning of the year can show his head right now. You know, was the tape supposed to get out with the scuffle, the fight of Draymond knocking out Poole or this, that, and the third. Like that type of stuff matters when it comes down to a situation like this, because now it's trust factors, it's trust issues, you know. And again, I think they played it the right way when we saw Poole miss the jumper, and maybe what was that, game one, where everybody rallied around him and said, "Hey man, that was a good shot. You were supposed to take that shot. You know, don't worry about that." But who's to say when he went in the locker room that, you know, they didn't turn in on him, you know? So it's one of those things, man. I just think that fight actually is going to show his head, and it's showing that, hey, they're not as tight as they were last year. And now the Lakers smell it, and LeBron, this is his chance right now. He get this, hey, this is his chance. But again, it's going to be real interesting to see. I want to be able to see that Denver Lakers matchup, because it's the right game to have right now. So,
do you feel that Darvin Ham has outcoached Steve Kerr in this series?
Again, it's kind of hard to say, because like what are we looking at? If Poole made that shot in game one, we'd be looking at a different series. And so I do think that, again, the culture that has that he's allowed to have over these last couple of years with the situation with Draymond, because now it's at a point right now where Draymond could be, you may not be able to play him. You know, you're not able to play him, but he holds so much power and cachet with that team. It's kind of like, or you stuck in a catch-22. So I'm not going to say he's out coaching him, but I just think, you know, I feel like that the dynasty is it's showing its cracks in this situation, because I think one shot we'll be looking at a different series. So if that answers your question, if that's I kind of skated around that, but
you know, hey, you were skating like Bob on ball bounce.
Yeah, but because I ain't gonna give Ham his best that credit just yet, man. You got to get to the finals to say that you out-coached Steve Kerr.
Okay. Well, my observation is, first off, AD. This guy has to consistently be that guy every game, because if you stay physical and attack the paint against a smaller Golden State team, that's going to wear the team down when it matters the most, and that's in the fourth quarter. If you saw the game that Golden State lost, Steph Curry started off strong, but then because you're guarding D'Angelo Russell or Lonnie Walker, and you've been taken to the hole. Same thing with Clay. Same thing with Wiggins. Draymond, he don't shoot anyway. But that affects you on the other end. The more that the Lakers pound that middle and be physical with Golden State, that's going to affect them in the fourth quarter when they shots start being flat. How many times did you see Curry last game? A shot that he may have normally made was too hard, or definitely was too short, because they had to defend on the other end and they're being pounded. Right. That's what I'm seeing Darvin Ham telling his team is, be aggressive. You know what I'm saying? Put down your foot and be like, hey, this is about to be a battle. And the Lakers are giving it to him. And this squad here is probably the most talented squad LeBron has been around or has had since the Miami Heat days.
Yeah.
Like, this squad is like really legit, from the bench to what Austin Reeves has done. Dennis Schroeder, he reminded me of a Chalmers. Seeing what D'Angelo Russell has been doing for the team, being a spark. And I said it since day one of the season. The less that LeBron has to do, the better the Lakers are going to be. Now tonight, we might have to see that angry LeBron from Miami come out so they can close out at Golden State. Of course, you know, you love to win it in LA at home, but at the same time, LeBron ain't getting any younger, and you want to make sure that he is healthy and rested for the next round. So if you're the Lakers, and especially you being LeBron, you want to do everything that you can do to get this series over with. I know it's going to be tough, and Golden State, and right now they are right down, like, 16 to 3 or 6, whatever it is right now. Let me go back to my channel. They kind of left me.
17-5. Yeah, 17-5. But I like the way LeBron was moving in this whole series. It's just kind of like you can tell he's fresh, he's motivated, kind of exactly what you just said. He knows that he has no choice. He got to get it done right now, because if it's any chance of them being or if this game go to 7, I just think those guys will feel so like just demoralized that they didn't pull it out and take care of business when they had the chance. But yeah, I agree with you. We may need to see a vintage LeBron come this time around. But I'm gonna say, man, how huge of a pickup was Russell, because now it's someone that can just handle the ball, that can score, but got a chip on his shoulder. I feel like he's playing with so much of a chip and so much to prove that he could possibly be the Wiggins of last year's series. A guy who had a lot of potential coming out, was viewed as being very immature in his first stint with the Lakers, saw the world, grew up, bounced from team to team, and probably has an appreciation of where he's at right now. And probably like, man, look, this is the best chance I can get on playing on a dynasty type team with a ring with legendary players. Let me make the most out of it. And I mean, we saw it in the Memphis series where he played with a chip on his shoulder against Morant, and now in this series too. So he has a lot to prove, and he's been playing well. So hats off to that dude.
Yeah, most definitely, man. And he even admitted, he was like, Minnesota held him back in regards to him just being not allowed to have him use his skill set. And you can tell that he's just having fun doing this thing, and he ain't being judged like, why are you shooting this shot? Why are you doing this? Because the Lakers need that.
Right. No, yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't he be able to shoot? But he's not just the only one. There's other guys that have that offensive freedom out there to do those things. But they identify who needs this ball when it's crunch time. We can let AD get his little rocks off and do his thing. When LeBron wants the ball, we feed him the ball. But other than that, man, we need to hoop. We need to play. So,
yeah. So, as you said before, the playoffs have been incredible. A lot of parity in regards to these teams, because it's not like that one dominant, they're going to sweep everything. No, it's based on matchups, especially around this time of the playoff round, conference semifinals. Hey, let's go. Lakers are the 7th seed, while the Golden State the 6th seed. You know what I'm saying? And they could have easily, if things would, turn out their way, it could have easily been a higher seed if things would have went better in the regular season. Like you see at the pickup during the trade deadline for the Lakers, getting those guys, Vanderbilt, Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, letting go of Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverly. I mean, that lifted the team up, and you brought better guys in. Because how many times did you hear the first month of the season, LA cannot shoot threes at all? They cannot make threes at all. But now, they are a legit threat. Not saying they go to the state level, but they are a legit threat. And this has been an incredible series. It's been fun, especially with the wifey, because she's been going to state. I'm rolling with LA. We having fun here in the house. And we ain't going to hold everybody else, because that's our NBA playoff talk. And, Coach, it's been fun talking with you, man, seeing you again, and look forward to many more joint ventures together in the future, brother.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm here. So, all right, did we get a pick? Did you say who was gonna win it all?
Go ahead, you first.
Man, hey, I think, man, if the Lakers can get over this hump, man, I'm gonna ride with LeBron. I want to see a Lakers Boston series. So I'm gonna say that I want to see a Lakers Boston series, and in the end, I want to see LeBron ride out on this sunset. No disrespect to Jay, he has a whole bunch of years left in him, man, to get there. But yeah, I want to see LeBron ride out, because I feel like he can solidify himself getting that ring in LA, and it'd be nice to see. So,
and we have a Jordan Poole sighting as well. He just made a 3-pointer, so he may be back. And for me, I would love to see a Boston and LA matchup. I just don't feel like that's going to happen this year in regards to the East. Man, but I'm gonna say the Lakers are going to the finals, and I have them facing the 76ers. I feel like this is that year for Philly to go to the finals. So we shall see. But playoffs have been once again incredible. And this has been an incredible night of the Platform Sports Talk Show. Shouts out to Joe. Shouts out to Bunny for assisting me with this show this evening. Shouts out to our special guest, Jeremy Boyer, organist from the St. Louis Cardinals and the St. Louis Blues. And once again to my dude, Brian Turner. This is the Platform Sports Talk Show. Y'all go ahead right now. Follow us on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube, subscribe, click on that bell so anytime we go live, you will be notified. Also, to all the women out there watching the show right now, happy upcoming Mother's Day. Without you, nothing is possible. Okay, we Coach Brian Turner and I, we wouldn't be here without you, wonderful, beautiful women. So thank you very much for sacrificing and doing everything that y'all have done to be incredible mothers. Once again, the Platform Sports Talk Show, once this stream is over, it will be uploaded on Roku. Also, you can email us platformsportstalkshow@gmail.com. Check out our Insta at Platform Sports Talk. And for those listening right now who can't watch, we understand you got things going on. Hot 365 Radio, where it's always hot. Go to hot365radio.com or go to the app, whether it's iOS or Android. Put in Hot 365 Radio, download the app. We also on their Twitch channel, Hot 365 Radio. And also, I got my own little Smoooth Productions on Twitch as well. Just started today, having a little fun with that. So we everywhere, y'all. There's no reason why you can't hear us or see us every Wednesday night. Shouts out to the Man Cave crew every last Wednesday of the month and to the Ladies Night crew. Once again, this is the Platform Sports Talk Show. Your boy Smoooth, and y'all have an incredible rest of your week. And we out this thing. Y'all have a good one.